Look, it's a flood.
The flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
A vitamin just to like research like what it was because it was brought up in conversation, and then immediately my entire Facebook newsfeed looked like a GNC, and I'm like,
one time I googled on the way home. We weren't even here. I googled lemon trees, right? Just to see how much they were, because I was talking about tearing that bush up out front and putting in a lemon tree.
take a guess how much dollars you're holding with those 3 cards.
Immediately when I got home and turned on YouTube, the first ad that popped up was for fucking lemon trees, bro. Have you ever seen an ad for trees on YouTube?
Nope. Take a guess how much dollars you are holding.
These look like... This is pretty intense art right here.
Oh, yeah.
$4.50.
Alright, you're over. It's $3.10.
Damn it! I wasn't even that much over, though.
That Kiki Jiki, that one is especially expensive, because that is the only version, that is the original one, and it's the only one with that art. All the other ones have been reprinted with this hideous art. Awful.
Oh, yeah, no. How?
And they've reprinted it like 5 times, and it's all this like fucking Final Fantasy bomb art.
Yo, you just reminded me.
So, a foil of that one's like $40.
Yeah.
The foil of this one was $130.
Shit.
But I mean, this card's also like almost 20 years old, and I went and I got the near mint one. And the thing is that it was totally worth it because this card has no clouding on it. And I'll show you my commander,
phone on
which
silent
definitely has clouding.
or vibrate.
Oh yeah, no. But like, look at that. Like, look at these in the light, and you can just tell,
Yeah.
like, this one's cloudy,
Yeah.
and this one's perfectly clear.
That sucks too, because that other card looked tough.
That's my commander. This is how much I love this deck and this card. Carplusian legend tells of an orc so cruel that he burned his own followers in rage, and yet so revered that they rose from their pyres to serve him. I mean, that fantasy novel I'm writing is about him.
I see you on your shit. I wanted to save it because we were just talking about like Stan Lee, and it was the quote that you read from Stan Lee about racism, and then in the comments they got into it about how Jack Kirby was the real one, and how Jack Kirby was literally like fighting off like neo-Nazis in the fucking office while like Stan Lee was off fucking wanking in the closet or some shit. I don't know, but
I don't want people to slander that man.
no, he doesn't deserve the slander. But the point of the group in the comments is that Jack Kirby once again deserves way more credit than what he gets. And Stan kind of pulled that move that like they all do, and it's like, I'm the star. Like nobody else talks about fucking JC's Chazé or any of the rest of the fucking Backstreet Boys anymore. It was fucking Nick. And then like the same thing with the NSYNC.
What do you mean? Chris Kirkpatrick, you can get your ass kicked.
Fucking nobody talk about the rest
Chris
of...
Kirkpatrick was in an episode of Static Shock, yo.
Was he for real?
Yeah.
Who was Chip Skylark? One of them niggas was Chip Skylark.
That's Chip Skylark is from Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, but one of them niggas is Chip Skylark. Hold on, I'm googling it now.
So yeah, you read
Chris Kirkpatrick.
You read those things I wrote, right?
For the most part.
So yeah, those are.
Oh, okay. That's the queen.
Yeah, that's the queen, that's the mob boss, and that's the first dragon.
Yeah, okay.
The other dragon I killed. Well,
I imagined her looking much more beautiful than that. I don't know. Maybe that's just my toxic masculinity at hand. But
or I haven't described her physical appearance enough.
yeah.
I mean, I built him up as a
Lord.
underworld boss who was smuggling.
He kind of looks like it.
Who was a drug dealing kingpin.
Kind of looks like it. Medieval drug dealer, mob boss kind of guy.
Steampunk. More like steampunk.
Yeah, but I mean, based off of the card art.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Your story arc is like steampunk, but the card art is like. Now you got me thinking like what a fucking like Godfather movie set in like the Dark Ages would look like. I mean, it would be the Catholic Church, right? Like obviously. Like,
So it's the Borgias.
Yeah, never mind. Never mind.
It's like. I remember it was I was listening to some stand-up comedian, and he was like, I came up with this idea that, like, you could get a personal chef to just come to your house and, like, cook you food. And I was like, that's a great idea, until I realized I invented the restaurant.
We gotta... Hey, Lil B. Can we figure out who said that? He'll be here later.
Yeah, he will. I bet you if we messaged him, it'd be like, you have any Lighthouse updates on stuff you haven't even heard yet?
Oh yeah, he can just give us live Lighthouse updates. He was all like, what am I gonna talk about? And I'm, nigga,
you're the Lighthouse!
Literally the Lighthouse. It's our Victor. He's our Victor, yo. Like,
He's our Reg the Ledge.
who's Joe Rogan's dude? The dude that's always on the computer for you. Come on, you're not gonna tell me.
I don't really listen to Joe Rogan. Once it gets on Spotify, I will. But everybody's like on YouTube. I'm not the YouTube listener. You know.
That's fair, but you gotta get on the wave, bro.
I mean, I was listening to the Breakfast Club earlier. If that counts for anything. I listened to our podcast.
I'm always kind of listening to our podcast.
It's not because we're narcissistic, but it's because we're narcissistic.
It's an improvement thing at this point. It's like watching fight tapes.
Yeah.
Go back, and I'm like, man, that run didn't really land the way I wanted it to. My voice kind of cracked right there.
I think I told you, I edit out jokes that just don't hit.
Yeah. To you, but I don't know if we should do too much of that. Like, well, for the really crass jokes, like, yeah, when we was talking about laying our deck out on the table.
Oh, yeah, that was really bad.
Yeah.
That'll never come out.
That's the most y'all ever hear of that.
No,
My man said I deleted those files.
I think they're buried somewhere. I just have no idea where they are.
Tragic.
What was I? Shit. Yeah, no, like some jokes I'll listen to them and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's gotta come out just bad. Or it just doesn't, like, it's way off the wall and like nobody will get it.
Yeah. Deep cut. Looking for a deep cut. Yo, only a couple people are gonna get that shit.
Yeah, so I was thinking if I was gonna compare myself to any celebrity like that I relate to and I think people would understand me being like that person, Conan O'Brien.
Oh, I saw that. I saw your stat. Yeah, I agree. You're like if Conan O'Brien was a millennial.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that.
Are you?
Yeah, Conan's great.
Nah, there's nothing wrong with Conan at all. Oh my god. This is why. This is B-side material. I just feel like our day one listeners are gonna be like, man, what happened to the cough, doc? When Doc get the when damn, see there I go. When Doc get the coughing, y'all know it's about to get wild in this bitch. He gonna say anything. Nah, don't even.
He doesn't remember anything.
I don't.
Does he have Alzheimer's?
I don't. My memory is terrible, guys.
I love the running jokes we have. Yeah, watch that, John, if you haven't watched it yet.
No, I haven't. I don't really be checking my Facebook like that. I check it now because of y'all, and I appreciate y'all. But other than that, fuck Mark Zuckerberg.
I feel like I use it because by the time we all realized how evil it was, I was already too deep in.
Exactly. I'm way too deep in now. And now I can't, like, what am I going to do? Go back to MySpace? That's why I'm trying to go to Twitter or Instagram.
You're still with Zuckerberg.
That's what I was getting ready to say. It's still...
And with Twitter, you put your faith in Jack Dorsey.
I feel like Jack Dorsey's more of a fucking human than Mark Zuckerberg.
I agree, but Jack Dorsey at times has no idea what the fuck to do.
Ever. That's why he invented Twitter. What do you mean? Like, that's clearly the invention of a madman. I'm going to invent an app platform that does nothing but allow people to string together random thoughts that they have and stream them to everybody. Anybody you want. I'm gonna let celebrities
including
do
us.
it.
Tweet at us. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like.
Hit us up with a random stream of consciousness. Just, you know, one moment when you feeling it, just be like, oh, you know what, guys at the flood, here's something.
Here is a shower thought, or something like that. Ooh, so I came up with a really good shower thought a while ago.
Oh, yeah?
You spend half of all gas that you buy going home.
Would you say half, though? Is it always half, though? Look, alright, so I'm willing to entertain this, right?
Well, think about it. You can do like a detour, but more or less, half of all gas that you buy is going home.
Ah, I see what you mean. In, like, the grand scheme.
Yeah, like if you drive 15 miles away, you have to drive 15 miles back.
Yeah. But I thought you meant, like, in the case of, like, half of the gas that you buy, right, will eventually just be spent going home. Like, whether you're going home from work, or going home from the club, or going home from the gas station. You spend about, probably more than half of your gas driving home. That was dope, see. The one that's always fucked me up is we buy trash bags to throw them in the trash.
I think the idea of wallets got me fucked up.
Buying a thing to carry your money around in?
Yep, just that concept. I think it's funny.
What else are you supposed to do with it, though? Like, I mean, not that I'm saying carry all your money around with you, but it's like...
Fuck if I know. I'm gonna grab a snack.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I was really about to be like, are we going into, like, the ethical, like, nature of the idea of money?
Like on YouTube, they're like, is this suitable for children? And I'm like, no.
Like, we need content?
Yeah.
Oh my god, we
We
need
have like
content!
33 followers now on Spotify.
Do it?
Yeah.
Hey.
How many?
Like,
Like 33?
Nice.
62 followers on Instagram.
We get a lot of likes on those pictures, too.
Hey.
But you know what
Instagram
people
is
really
where I
like?
live, though.
When we rise up and crash through, this is Dr. Ziggy with the Flood Keeper. Death threats to 140 characters or less.
He tried to sneak that one in there.
Excuse me.
He came through.
Everybody, we have a guest here. We have Lil B, also known as the Lightkeeper
That's right.
from the Lighthouse. And as with everybody we bring on here, everybody has those hills that we're gonna die on.
Oh, we're starting out strong. We're going straight to the island, huh?
That's how we always start with
Oh,
the
we're
new
going
person.
straight to the island.
Everybody has a hill that they're gonna die on, and we need to tell you if it floats or not. So tell us, what is your island?
Very well. I was trying to think when you called me earlier today and you were like, hey, do you want to come onto the pod? I was like, I need islands. I need something. I was
My
like,
man
if I'm
knew it
going
was
on,
up.
I know what's
He
coming
knew
my
it was
way.
up.
So I'm at work trying to think. I'm like, man, I need something that kind of would
Please
go.
tell me they're not food related. It seems like everybody has a food
They're
related
not
one.
food related.
Okay,
but
good.
We're going to be jumping into our own little nerd corner here.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Talk that talk.
So I got 2 islands.
Okay.
Number 1, One Piece is one of the greatest stories of all time, and Oda is a mastermind. And even though it is almost at 1,000 chapters.
I was in the never-ending
Even though
story.
it's almost at 1,000 chapters, it is wrapping up in its endgame. And if you are going to push back and hit me on the contrary that it is not one of the greatest stories of all time, you just haven't had the patience to sit down and actually read it.
It's certainly one of the most fleshed out stories.
Yeah,
of all time.
no, that's
A lot,
real.
and I will
Yeah.
absolutely give it that, but it is 100%. I'm on the manga.
Okay.
I
With
can't-
that much syndication
So you
for
feel
that
like-
long and that much content, you have to have fully fleshed out characters. I don't read One Piece because that's more commitment than marriage.
Hold on.
But
hold on. What has more episodes? One Piece or the Simpsons?
One Piece.
I'd argue
Or
One
the
Piece.
Simpsons?
The episodes are in the 900s for One Piece.
Oh wait, I didn't even
I
listen
said
to what
the
you said.
Simpsons.
Oh
I mean, that's been going on for 25 years, and what did they normally do? 20-ish a season?
no, Simpsons been
used
going
to.
on longer than that.
Just a...
Simpsons had
Yeah.
episodes from the 1980s.
Okay, so almost 40 years. That's actually
Yeah.
a great question. Lighthouse? Check it.
Google it on Craig.
I'm gonna just sit here and just Google my own answer.
I don't. So I haven't watched One Piece. I went through.
What the fuck? Are you serious?
Like I've seen One Piece,
Okay.
but
Okay,
I.
but, before I even let you go, I'd argue that Toei Animation, as good as they are as a company, really love to draw little things out like villagers running. So that's why I switched to Team Read. I just could not handle the animation anymore, where it would be like a 30-minute episode that would cover half a chapter. And I was like, guys,
yeah.
I mean, look at the last 5 minutes of the Namek saga.
I was getting ready to
Or
say
the
no.
Frieza
Thank
saga.
you. Thank you.
But that was
'cause
also-
That was like 12 episodes in 5 minutes.
but that was because the dude they had caught up to the manga, and the mangaka was, I think, sick at the time, so he wasn't producing any more chapters. That's not the case with One Piece. One Piece is pumping them out. Right now it's a little slower because of COVID. They're doing every other week, but they have new content each week. So that's an additional 16-page chapter.
Makes me
week.
sad as a Hunter x Hunter fan, and Tagashi just doesn't do shit.
You ain't gotta tell me. All my favorite animes are over in like a season or two. It's just
Yeah,
But
no,
there's something to be said
Like,
about that, though.
I've been looking for
Have things
animes.
that happen fast.
I've been looking for long-running animes that like don't suck. Black Clover, I think, is overrated. I really do.
It's entertaining, to say the least.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I've had to settle with that recently because I have like a huge content problem. Like if it's not like fucking mind blowing, then I don't sit down and watch it. Right? Like,
Right.
I don't dedicate
Like I
the
said,
time
you
to
have to dedicate the time to get it.
Exactly.
Black Clover didn't draw me in.
And I've had to watch.
Like right
shit
now,
for
I'm
entertainment.
I'm admitting I'm actually watching Samurai Champloo for the first time.
To be honest, I actually didn't make it through that whole thing, but that was because of the fact that I just happened to just be in a location that had just crap internet.
Oh, okay.
I was down in like Southwest Virginia where I just didn't have anything good, and I was trying to watch it and it kept bugging out, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to watching cable. I'm just gonna.
All right. So as far as this one goes, I'm gonna say, just
That shit is iconic.
yeah,
Over
it's
here,
iconic.
dog.
I'm gonna say, while I don't know, I'm gonna say it floats.
Let me rebut the manga.
I'm still gonna
Manga
say I'm
over
still
the
gonna
anime.
say that it
Again.
floats.
Okay.
The manga over the anime.
Like
yeah.
I may not be in it like that, but I'm gonna say that it floats just because it's been going on for so long.
Yeah.
And it has
I-
such a dedicated fan base.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have continued this long if it wasn't a good story.
Right.
Like, so.
We're looking at the analytics.
We're going real deep into it if it's going to be
We called up Daryl Morey and we're like, all right, break this down for us.
Right.
But you got to also look at the different mangas that have been running for similar lengths. You know, you've got something that started in 97, Berserk started in 89.
Yeah.
And Berserk kills me. Every 6 months we get a new chapter. It's like Hunter x Hunter, where he has side projects, or George R.R. Martin.
Tagashi's just not very healthy and he gets exhausted doing the work.
Right. It's an exhausting thing to do, and that's why Oda is trying his best to actually finish the story. He estimated around chapter 600 that it would end at 1200. So we're creeping up there, and he is actually, if he keeps going and doesn't decide to just randomly add more to the story, that would actually make sense. Like, the whole fan base is discussing, like, where and when it might end, and we're all talking, like, there's probably only, like, 3 more islands. So, like, 3 more arcs for them to get through, once we get through the one that we're in now. So,
What's the typical episode length or chapter length of an island?
depends on the island. They have, like, a long one, and then they'll have a short one. And then they'll have a long one, and then a short one. So, like, the chapter...
Is any of it filler?
In the manga, no. In the anime,
Really?
yeah. Oh, yeah. In the manga, he usually is just straight to the point. And and he also knows that in the manga, people don't want to read filler.
Yeah.
They really don't want to read filler. That's not what they're sitting down for. In the anime, people will kind of get through that.
We'll pace through it.
We'll
because
pace
that's
through
how
it.
we were introduced to this shit. If you
Right.
came in reading the mangas, then you were like, yeah, what the fuck is
It's
this?
like, what is this crap? I don't. These aren't characters that I care about. How did we magically wind up on another side of the world?
Right.
What's going on? And so that doesn't really happen in the manga. It's pretty much just straight content the whole time. And
Okay.
I mean, I think the arc before the one that we're in now was 6 chapters, and the chapters are roughly 16 pages per chapter. The one that we're in now is over 100 chapters. No, that's a lie. We're creeping up on 100 chapters.
Well done.
That one's
Shit.
been he broke it into almost set up like a play. So he has acts.
Okay.
So we're in
Yeah.
we're reaching the end of Act 3 out of 5.
Okay.
So we're past the halfway point of the arc, but we all knew that this one was going to be big because he's
So you're on the falling action.
not quite. We're creeping up on climax.
Gotcha.
But we knew that this one, all the fans knew that this one was going to be long as hell, because he's been building to this one since chapters 500-ish. Like, all the content has just been cascading.
just the number on its own. He's been building to this since like 500-ish. Like, yo, what the fuck?
No,
And
there's,
that's
and
where-
there's
that's
like
what we're- that's
300
where One
something
Piece
total
kills me.
chapters of Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
And that's where the mastermind of Oda kind of comes into
Yeah.
play, because he planted seeds. I mean, like, I say chapter 500 because that's really when the island was introduced, but he had been planting seeds for this way back in the teens of chapters.
I wonder with people that make that much content for that long, like, I bet you they probably go into their fan base and they read, they're like, that's a good idea.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is actually the opposite. He's been known to go in, and if someone theorizes what's going to happen, he'll change it. Unless it's a huge bomb that needs to happen, and someone manages to get it.
So, the opposite of what I just said.
Opposite of what you said.
Yeah,
he has
that's
been
what he was
known.
saying,
He
yeah.
has been known to change it if someone gets it right. If it's kind of minor. If
Right.
it's like a huge one, and it's like, hey, this is a new character that's going to become a crew member, and they're going to do X, Y, and Z in this arc to help them and eventually get on the ship.
How many people are in Luffy's crew right now? And has he crossed the Grand Line?
No, we're on the second half of the Grand Line, near the end. So,
Is he the Pirate King yet?
no. But he is fighting the Emperors, so he is officially known as one of the Emperors, although that was floated by the...
So he would be like Keith Richards in the Pirates of the Caribbean?
just randomly shows up.
Yo.
just
and
randomly shows up.
he's like part of the council, though.
He's there, and
He's
apparently
there, yeah,
he's the
he's-
keeper of the code.
Oh my god.
They're more like guidelines.
But no, the newspaper, like the world news of the One Piece world, has inflated Luffy so much that they made him an emperor. And although he has been gaining a lot of strength in the current arc, when he became an emperor at the end of the last arc,
Sippy cut the lid off.
at the end of the last, you're a big boy, you can drink. At the end of the last arc, they announced him as an emperor, and the whole world, himself included, was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, like
But as a
fucking
result,
Luffy we're talking
it
about.
pissed off 2 of the emperors that he had already been
kind of
pissing off a lot, and then now they're both on the same arc, and so that's why this one is just culminating to this massive war, this intensely massive war, and there's so many characters showing up that even I'm having a hard time keeping track of it, and I stay as focused as I can on it because this is my primary story, and I'm like, okay, wait, who's on the island? Who's all on the island now?
Speaking of islands, what's your second?
Second island, and this one is going
Nice
to
way
be
to draw it back in.
this one's going to be a hot take. This one's going to be a real hot take.
Okay, I lean back. I'm ready for it. What's that?
The battle royale in Ready Player One is better than the final fight in Endgame.
Gwyneth Paltrow does fuck up the final fight.
Do you think?
Are you talking about that one scene
Yeah.
with Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my arguments as to why that deters
All
me
right,
from the Endgame
I'll
fight.
say that the Endgame fight's really, really bullshit because Captain Marvel Deus Ex Machina's the shit.
She's there! She's there!
She eventually shows up and then she just like flies through all the spaceships making it all seem pointless.
And albeit Ready Player One is borderline kind of almost like a comedic fun fight,
Yeah.
but there are real stakes. because they're all in this virtual world where that currency in the virtual world is like Bitcoin, but on another level.
Right.
The money that they earn in this virtual world is their livelihood.
Yeah.
Outside, they can have a real job too, but the two are coexist. They're like credits.
Right. Yeah.
And so if someone dies in this virtual world, in a zone that you can do PKs and player kills, they lose all of their money. All of it. And so people are showing.
I was about to say, like, oh, they die in real life, so over.
No. They don't die in real life. They just lose. They lose
all their money.
They lose their net worth.
Yeah, exactly.
They lose if they own an asset.
They lose their livelihood.
They lose their livelihood, and that actually was shown in the beginning of the movie and in the book. If you've read that people will actually kill themselves if they die. They're like, well, fuck it. I've got nothing left going for me. So there is a real.
So would it be like I come back and my commander deck is gone?
It's not like it disappears. Like if you own something, you're still gonna have it.
Yeah, but your bank account
is gone.
Drained.
If you have an asset,
Well, actually, financially, I'm fine then.
if you have an asset, like if you own a home and you have a loan out and you're trying to pay a home mortgage, your home's gone.
That stack of 100 cards is worth $2,600.
Congratulations, you can feed yourself for a little over 4 months.
Or keep it and play it for a lifetime.
Cheers.
Do you? But that a lot of my other reasoning is this whole movie, this whole Ready Player One book, the movie, it is a pop culture enthusiast wet dream.
Oh yeah,
The amount of character mashups in it is insane. I actually wrote down a list of like every character I could find in the battle royale.
Damn, for real?
Yeah, it's actually huge. I have it on my phone. I'm not gonna read it out because it's absurd.
Is it like bigger than Wreck-It Ralph?
I think that's actually argued and debatable because people are still counting how many characters showed up in Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Yeah.
And how many characters showed up in Ready Player One.
God damn.
But
the internet is
the list
wild, Joe. Like,
for Ready Player One.
Minecraft Blob, Batman, Joker, Harley Quinn, Ryu, Ken, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Klingons, Mach 5 and DeLorean, Tron, Akira, Mechagodzilla, Iron Giant, Xenomorph, Looney Tunes, Stormtroopers, Halo Spartans, Borderlands, Overwatch, Goro from Mortal Kombat, Beetlejuice, Mad Max, Gremlins, Battletoads, Thundercats, Chucky, Spawn, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Gundams, Holy Hand Grenade, Sonic, Shepard, Lara Croft, Deathstroke, Giant, Jason and the Argonauts, Robocop, Duke Nukem, Greek, Roman,
why do you
mythological
say Duke
creature.
Nukem like that?
Because I was running out of breath.
And that was like all I could find the last time I watched the
I just
Battle
love
Royale.
in Wreck-It Ralph, like they're going
might
down
be
the escalator, and it says over top, Aerith lives.
I missed it. I feel like I missed it.
It was like on a screen.
Yeah.
And
It's written in graffiti. It's written in graffiti above like the when they're going down the escalator. Like if you look at the graffiti, you can see one that says Aerith lives.
But to cycle back,
bring it back in.
Endgame, the final fight was masterfully done, minus a few things.
I mean, it had a decade of commitment.
It had a decade of commitment, but the thing that killed me is they tried to squeeze in some comedy into something that was built up for a decade. This wasn't Thor Ragnarok. This wasn't the first Iron Man. This was Endgame. And they're trying to squeeze in some comedy into this thing, and then all of a sudden they kill off...
Fat Thor was great.
Fat Thor was funny, but that was prior to the fight. I'm talking in the fight. They're trying to drop comedy. And like Spider-Man's trying to be Spider-Man and doing his funny stuff, but at the same time I'm like...
Spider-Man should be doing that.
I get it, that's his thing.
Like,
but at the same
just
time...
Spider-Man should be doing
But
it, though.
only Spider-Man.
I mean...
But then you also get, like, they're entering these comedy elements into this fight that is... This is not a fun fight that you would get in Ready Player One, where yes, there are stakes, but people were ready to lose that when it reached that battle royale. Right. They were ready, and they were ready to fight this company, because it was a company that was the main antagonist, trying to win the Oasis, and which was like $500 billion worth of assets. And they put people, they would buy people's debt and then put them in concentration camps to try to get them to be able to pay their debt, but they would set it up so that they could never actually pay their debt.
Actually
they would just keep accruing interest. And people were dying. They had hitmen going after the main characters. So yes, there were stakes. But at the same time, it's a really just fun fight filled with nothing but
nostalgia,
cameos, and everything. And I know you might think, oh, member berries from South Park, but
Yeah.
it really was done well.
That moment where
but that's how
Tony
a member
has the
berry is
gauntlet.
supposed to be served.
He says,
Right.
But that moment where Tony says, "I am Iron Man,"
I'm not
is so.
I'm not saying that wasn't impactful. I'm just saying I personally think it's a lot more enjoyable and a better well done fight in Ready Player One than in Endgame.
Key word I
Fight.
feel like is enjoyable. No, I feel like
I
it's
feel like
enjoyable.
and it might make it kind of personal in my own opinion.
And I feel like that might be where this island
We're gonna be
tends to,
litigating
fall
on the
apart.
wording.
Right. Yes, that is where we have gotten here in this discussion because
I feel like
in-game
in
fight
Ready
was
Player
so
One, you're
much
just like, yeah, for the fight. Where in Endgame, you're kind of like,
yeah, I really was on the edge of my seat for that. Even throughout like the little bits of comedic relief, like yeah, they did feel shoehorned in, but it's a fucking
forced.
Disney movie.
It felt forced.
Yeah, I mean, it was Ready Player One Disney? No.
It was Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, but I feel like
I don't think it was
no,
Disney.
yeah, it's
I
what
don't
we
know
were
what,
gonna get.
I don't
from
know what the
Disney.
House Mouse has their hands in anymore, to be honest.
Exactly. No, that's real.
I don't know what they got their hands in anymore.
Fucking, can we call it like? Is there some kind of break the monopolies up again? Like,
I
Jesus
don't know.
Christ!
Disney, we'll take your money.
Buy us up. We're not selling out, I swear.
No. Even Jesus and Pharaoh were like, sometimes you gotta get that bag.
Yeah, I guess.
Speaking of bag, we have Batman now here in our crewing of miscellaneous bullshit.
Are we gonna like draw attention to it? I just kind of felt like we would just like leave it there and
Too
not
late.
draw attention.
Attention's drawn.
It's a conversation
Too late.
piece. I have.
This
a,
is the Ben Affleck Batman.
I have.
I mean, like,
Does it float myself?
It's a pretty dope figurine, though.
Thank Des for it.
My son.
Thank you, Des.
All right,
Yep.
so if the key word is enjoyable,
And this is one of those moments
Here we
where
go
I just
again.
want to take that word back, because I still stand by what I said.
if
But
the word is enjoyable, I will give it to you. I'm not nearly as invested in it as I am Endgame. But if we're talking enjoyable, fun,
Okay, but that's because
Yes, I
Endgame
agree
had
with you.
10 years worth of like build up, right? Like, and I
which
get
again
that.
puts it on a different level.
Yeah, like, so that's why you're on the edge of your seat, because we've been waiting 10 years to see this nigga go, I am Iron Man, and to snap that we've been waiting, what, like 5 years for Captain America to grab that motherfucking hammer, yo?
I think it was
That's when
11
I
years.
lost it.
11
That's
years
when,
between the gap between Iron Man and Endgame.
Yep.
11 years, I think.
remember,
Yeah.
in one of the earlier movies, Cap was the only one to even move or
No,
like
that
slightly.
No, he
that was
wasn't.
Avengers 2.
Yeah.
He
But
slightly
also,
moved the hammer.
Vision did it
yes.
too.
Yep.
Vision did too.
Yep.
Well, I think Captain America, because he is like the pure of heart, and then Vision probably just because he has the time stone. Or
And
not the
that's
time
what
stone,
I
the
thought was gonna
Mind
happen,
Stone.
right? When I saw Mjolnir like move, I thought it was gonna be Vision, right? And I thought Vision was about to come dog like Thanos and shit because for ripping in because
he got
goddamn
bitched in
stone.
Infinity War?
Yeah, right. Like I was like, yo, they brought Scarlet Witch back. Where the fuck Vision at, right? Like Vision hasn't shown up yet. Like fucking let him grab the hammer and like go to work. But then when Captain America grabbed that shit and the shield, I was like, you know what?
All right,
I'm okay with it.
Fan service.
I'm okay with it. Every now and again, you need a good, healthy dose of fan service.
but
Yeah.
if the keyword is enjoyable here, it floats.
Doc.
I feel like it floats.
Okay.
I'll
All
give
right,
it to you.
I got two islands. I'm gonna survive.
I got one.
Yeah.
Does it float? I came up with myself
In the middle
while we
of
were
all
talking.
this.
Yes.
Oh god.
So
Oh god.
it's
Where we at?
the Batman with prep time law.
Oh no.
Is an undefeatable argument because the whole premise of it is anything that you can throw then be like, well, can Batman beat this? If somebody comes up with a bullshit way to get around it, Batman's already thought of it.
I feel like
It's kind of
not
like the Goku
unbeatable.
gets mad. It's kind of like Goku goes another level, and
I feel like it's not unbeatable. All you have to do is give it a reasonable time limit. Like if they say Batman needs prep time, then you're
Batman's
like,
already-
he gets
like,
3
what's-
hours.
what's
He
the
gets
prep
3
time?
hours of prep
Batman's
time.
been preparing before you even knew that you were going to be doing that. You
no,
remember
no.
the one episode
So,
in
like, he
the
can
Batman at the very end?
He can read my
bring
mind and know what evil
Yeah.
atrocity
No, he's
I'm
just
about
that
to
fucking
commit.
smart. So
No,
they beat him
he's-
up to the
He's
the
the
Justice
fucking
League tower
Clarence from
and they're
Minority
like,
Report.
Right, yeah, that's it. That's
in
it.
one person.
and they're all trying to be like secretive and go like,
All
we want you to
combined
join.
into that one brain.
They're like, we want you to join this establishment that we've been building. And Batman's like, oh yeah, I already know. Pulls out of his bat thing, bat belt, hits the thing, and all of the screens in the Justice League tower, when they're trying to invite him to join, just bat signals everywhere. And he's like, I've been known about this.
God damn. I
mean,
mean,
like, he has been known to be above genius status.
Also, alright, so
he's still not smarter than Clark, though.
this
Is that arguable?
Batman made
that
Darkseid
arguable?
surrender.
We're starting to enter into territories that I'm unfamiliar with.
I mean,
He is
Superman
logic his
is
way.
super smart. Like,
He's like
yeah, but, like-
wicked smart.
yeah,
But like,
Super-
I don't know if that. I mean, like, they always were like the pseudo leaders, and they
Yeah.
would butt heads of the.
The other thing is like people forget sometimes Batman's humanity, like he is a human, just a regular dude, is helpful. Remember in Justice League when Amazo came up? By the way, he's like stupid powerful. But like before he went like galactic Amazo, like he
This
was
is
just
a real
absorbing their
nerd
powers
corner,
and he
yo.
was scanning
I told
Batman.
you I was instigating a nerd corner.
He was scanning Batman,
Here we
and
are.
he was like, you have no powers, and he's like, no, but I have this. Pulls out kryptonite, and he starts weakening Amazo, because Amazo absorbs all of their strengths and their weaknesses, and he absorbs Superman, and they were like, oh fuck, we're all gonna die. He's got Green Lantern, he's got Hawkgirl, he's got Superman, and then Batman's like, fuck you, I got kryptonite, bitch.
Can Green Lantern synthesize kryptonite?
No.
I mean, it's green though.
They bend a lot of laws
They do
in these comics that
They
might be
do.
doable. It
No,
might
like,
be
look, if you
doable.
tried to argue the Batman with prep time thing, I'm gonna come up with a bullshit reason why Batman with prep time would beat it.
All I'm saying is if we give I don't know. I still feel like the time limit clause might be a way to defeat that argument.
Well, he's already prepared for that.
No, now you're just calling Batman clairvoyant, and then we're giving him a
Have you
superpower.
seen the episode where the one villain launches all of the disable things for all of the members of the Justice League, and it all works flawlessly?
But does that make him clairvoyant?
It makes him certainly accurate in predicting.
I'll give you accurate in prediction. Ability to predict well. I'm not giving him clairvoyant.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I'm not
'cause
giving him clairvoyant.
clairvoyancy.
But if he's the world's greatest detective and a super genius
But
with
if-
all this tech, and I'm able to come up with a bullshit reason,
But if I rip a hole in the space-time continuum right now, and I'm like, I'm gonna dog Batman shit.
you
in
think he
2
doesn't have a boom
hours.
tube from Darkseid?
I'm here to dog his shit. I'm gonna dog walk him through Gotham Park in 2 hours.
You think he doesn't have a boom tube to go back and be? Yo, this man was
we are
sent back to
striking a
the Wild
nerve
West
here.
and still found a way to time travel.
We are striking a nerve here.
Oh man.
Zig.
Batman
I'll
with
let
prep
it float.
time.
I'll let it float.
I'm gonna have to give it to you because I don't have nearly enough DC comic reference.
This
also-
dude
I'm
was
running out
ki-
of- I'm running
this
out of
dude
my
was
knowledge.
sent back to the prehistoric age and still found a way to travel through time back.
Who sent Batman back to the prehistoric age?
Darkseid.
Oh.
Once again, this motherfucker.
Yeah, it was
Curse you,
Grant Morrison's second try to kill Batman, which he fucked up again.
Okay. So
All
what
right,
we
Zig.
got on the ship log,
All right, Zig.
sir?
It
Or do we
floats.
wanna take
Break.
And we're back.
And we back.
We're making Doc deaf, but
I mean,
We're back.
that's nothing new.
But we're back.
Ziggy's been
So-
screaming in my ear for 22 episodes.
22 episodes. 24, 5,
Yeah.
6.
Wait, are we
6
on
or 7?
Are we on the 25th? Is that the quarter?
We've recorded a lot. We've actually recorded
Yeah,
several episodes that we've just lost.
Yeah, there's some things
There's
that
something
will
we just
never,
had to cut. That
Yeah.
we're just like, this is awful.
never see the light of day. Ever.
Hey, that's called pushing content.
Yep. Yeah, well, you know.
Alright, so there was something really, really dope found out. Luigi coding in Mario 64.
Oh, you're talking about that the theory that you can actually play as Luigi.
No, they found coding and they like put
Okay,
together Luigi's model again.
Okay, but let's talk.
Like
let's
he's
talk.
in Mario 64.
So
Let's
they
talk
put
now,
together
because
the
there has
model, but
been that star that's out in the Boo graveyard.
yeah, and it says
It
L
says
is real
L is
2401, and it's 24 years and 1 month since the game came out.
and
And
now
then the
we can play
leaks
as
came
Luigi.
out. The leaks came out with the data that Luigi is in the game, and they found all the data of like the audio clips. They found the character model that they then pieced back together, and now there are modders trying to put it all back together so you can play as Luigi.
that's what I was getting ready to say. Where the mod?
Because it was
Might as
also
well pick
supposed
it
to
back
be
up and play
it was
as
supposed to
Luigi.
be like a 2-player mode. It was supposed to be like a 2-player co-op mode that you could have somebody play as Luigi.
And then
That's what I
clearly,
originally
whoever created that star, or whoever higher up allowed them to make that star, was like, hey, you need to put L is real in here. And for whatever reason, they picked 24 years
And 1
in
month.
1 month. Why?
That's a why? Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. There we go.
BRB.
Devil's advocate.
No, see, here we go.
Devil's
See,
advocate. Yeah, and then he
I
runs
told
off.
you we could.
Look, we're in Conspiracy America.
See,
Just
now,
bask in it.
I told him that we could start recording in like another 30 seconds, and here he goes.
Yep, running off.
Running off. I told him.
Disappearing.
And now he's left me to bullshit with you
No,
over
it's
this
fine.
whole Luigi thing.
No, but but you're right. You're right. It does
I
seem
can
grand.
yell.
No, there's no reason for you to yell. This idea.
so
I had
These
faith in
words
you to
sound
be able to make small talk for 30 seconds.
This idea.
Mom walks away for 30 seconds.
And the boys start bickering.
Anyway, no, they found Luigi in Mario 64. This is wild. Because, like, remember a couple of years ago in the original Zelda, somebody finally found a room that was, like, put in there for, like,
yeah,
a Make-A-Wish
totally.
kid.
Yeah.
And nobody found it until, like,
But like
3 years ago.
Nintendo loves to put those Easter eggs in the game. They love putting those Easter
This
eggs.
is like the crazy shit.
My man's
that's-
like, so that's nothing new.
but
Like,
like,
this
no,
is the
no,
type
no,
of
it's
thing where
amazing.
John Malkovich
Yeah.
made a
It's-
movie that's not going to be released for 100 years.
It's amazing. Like, it's incredible that people are still to this day finding something
Searching
from
for
a
that
game
shit.
that came out
Yeah.
in 1987.
Yeah.
That's incredible. But Nintendo does that. I think every game has its own level of Easter eggs. So the fact that Luigi
This is
has
like
been
data
found,
mining.
this is intense. I mean, people have been seeing that L is real 2401
For
since the game came out.
yeah.
Since the game came out, it's kind of like a broken alphabet, but
God. what
Yeah, you
was-
really have to, like, try to high-res it.
you have to strain your eyes to really see what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
And that actually, I mean, like, the level, though, I'm always impressed with the level of detail that people will go into when it comes to solving this type of crap. I mean, there was a
No,
dude,
that's what I was saying earlier. The internet is fucking wild.
it's
Joe.
wild.
Like,
There was a dude, so Breath of the Wild 2, which doesn't have its own surname yet. It doesn't have its own subtitle. It's just known as Breath of the Wild 2.
okay. The working type.
The working title.
Yeah.
They released. I can't wait. I can't wait. Have you seen the teaser trailer where they
Yeah,
go down
shamelessly
and-
put 450 plus hours into the first one.
Yeah,
shamelessly.
no, shamelessly. I wouldn't even have to even say that word. I was happy to put that hours in.
Sheesh.
I did not find all 900 core seeds though, because
Fuck that.
I'm
Neither have I.
not
Fuck
wasting.
that.
I'm not wasting my
To
life
get the giant.
to get a giant pile of shit.
Oh god.
That is, it's literally
Like,
a
I
thing
got
from
all of the
tree and it
medals.
goes, oh, it smells funny. That's it. That's all it does.
And the worst part is after like 456 Korok seeds, it doesn't even do
No,
it.
it does nothing. It does nothing.
Wow.
After you reach, I
The
think,
shitty
I think
thing
it
is every
456.
single Korok seed
shitty thing
is
is-
0.06%. So, like, if you don't get all the Korok seeds, you could, like, functionally 100% the game and only have, like, 63% clearance. Just because of
fucked.
Korok seeds.
That's fucked.
But
That's fucked.
But cycling back, I mean, like, I loved Breath of the Wild. I will rave about Breath of the Wild anytime.
Everybody has, like, the same 7 complaints, but...
I gotta
Great
get a
game.
Switch.
But that's
I
what
gotta
they-
get a Switch.
But
I'm
that's
out here,
what they're
like,
trying to
stranded.
solve in Breath of the Wild 2. One of
Yeah.
the main complaints is where the dungeons.
Yeah.
One of the main complaints is where the dungeons, and there's a lot of hype over.
I feel like they missed
Hey.
the whole opportunity of just having caves.
But think about
Ooh.
how much.
That game looked beautiful, right? So
But
I can
think
only
of-
imagine like the cave level would have.
And there was no real underwater level. I mean, all bitch about the water levels
Constantly.
constantly.
I'm not a-
I missed it.
except-
I missed it.
Except for Ancient Cistern and Skyward Sword.
Oh, yeah, no, that one was fucking great.
That water level is amazing.
Skyward Sword, I think, is entirely underrated. I think
agree.
it's a really fun game. It's a really fun game.
I would agree. Skyward Sword is very underrated.
Like, it may not feel as, like, quite as epic as all the other Zeldas, and it may be a little bit more it was fun!
And they definitely
Okay.
kind of stretched that storyline because they were trying to develop that Zelda timeline, which got released like a year after Skyward Sword did, and this was supposed to be that thing that brought it all full circle. And this was the
Oh, so
very
It
start.
is the
That
first.
tied
It is
everything
the,
together.
in chronological order, it is
Yeah.
the first game that just answers everything, and it goes down like Skyward Sword. I think Oracle of Seasons and Ages might be in the Death
Yeah,
timeline,
yeah.
but there's a
No, there's a
four
bunch
swords,
of weird ones.
4 swords. There's a few weird ones.
Basically,
and then
the
Ocarina of Time.
only relevant part is
Yeah.
it goes Skyward
Yeah.
Sword to Ocarina, and then that's where it splits into the three.
It
Oh,
splits
okay.
into 3,
Okay.
and then it goes the Death timeline, the Child timeline, the Adult timeline,
Okay.
and it's Link after he kills or defeats Ganondorf.
Right.
I guess
You
kills
follow
him.
Link,
Yeah.
and then you
Follow
go to
Link,
Majora's Mask, and then from there it goes to Twilight
that's the Child
Princess.
timeline. That's the Child timeline.
Oh, Child
He goes
timeline.
back in time, and he meets with Zelda, and Zelda is like, okay, hey, I warned my dad about Ganondorf. You saved the world. Congratulations. And Link's like, all right, I want to go find Navi. Majora's Mask. In the adult timeline, Link eventually dies of old age, and then Ganondorf comes back, but Link is dead, and he hasn't been reincarnated, and so then Ganondorf wins, and then the people pray to the gods, and the gods decide to flood Hyrule, and then
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker happens.
Okay.
Then in the Death timeline, we get the original Zelda, Zelda 2, A Link to the Past, things like that, because that is where Ganondorf defeats you.
Yeah.
That is where Ganondorf defeats you and you die. And those are the 3 timelines that kind of kick in, and Skyward Sword was almost an answer to all these people who were trying to nitpick their way to a chronological
For
timeline.
the longest thing,
Yeah.
people thought there was just 2 timelines.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
And that, and like,
Nintendo came back and was like, actually, there's 3.
Okay. I might have to get back into.
I mean, here's a real
Like,
subtle
I
one.
could
His
literally
name
let
is
you
Link,
borrow-
which
Yeah.
means links through time. Like, just for anybody that didn't make that obvious connection.
that it's the link between the player and the game. No, but I could literally let you borrow Hyrule Historia. I've got the whole textbook at my
Oh
house.
shit. Okay.
And
okay.
like,
It's great.
It's
sounds
actually
like
a lot of fun to read through.
I was gonna say it sounds like an interesting read.
It's a lot of fun to read
So
through.
basically, the big complaints of Breath of the Wild. Weapon durability, I loved.
Yeah.
I loved having it. It was too low. Entirely too low.
You'd fight 4 enemies and then your weapon would break.
You get
even with
3
a
hits
high-
out of a stick.
Okay, well, stick is a stick.
That's fine,
I'm
but I
talking
mean, like, if you
I'm
get a
talking like a
sword...
broadsword, like a nice, like, high-quality soldier's broadsword. You kill 4 bokoblins, and it's gone.
Maybe.
Maybe 4. Maybe 4 if you hit
God
them well.
damn. Yeah.
So you're picking up weapons constantly.
I love having it in the
non-stop.
game, though, because it gives it that survival element.
And
Yeah,
then let's
I
not
mean,
even
those are always
talk
fun
about
to have.
Master Mode. Master
Oh, that's
Mode
brutal.
decided that they were like, we're not going to give you as many weapons, we'll give you stronger weapons, but there's not as many of them, and the enemy's health regenerates.
And they're all up another level.
Oh yeah, and they all bump up a level.
I mean, I love
Fuck
Master Mode.
that.
I
It's-
love Master
yeah.
Mode.
So hard, but it,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was
like,
gonna say fuck
I
that.
had to beat the
No,
game
fuck
first. I had to beat the game first, like everybody else, because
Yep.
then you unlock it, and I
Yeah.
tried it, and I normally am a completionist, but I had already beaten the game, so I eventually was just like, okay, I'm gonna move on to the next game.
Yeah.
I had been clawing my way through Master Mode, I think.
Did you get the motorcycle?
No, I didn't bother.
The DLC is awesome.
No, I did get the unlocked Master Sword. I did get the unlocked Master Sword. I did
On
not.
Master Mode? All 3 levels?
On Master Mode, no.
I was about to say,
Master Mode,
struggling.
yeah.
I struggled for a long time to get the
Mode,
first
no.
one.
No. Anyway, Breath of the Wild 2 and the insanity of people on the internet, and let's get it back. Let's get it back on topic.
Yeah,
We're way
yeah.
off. The insanity of the internet. Breath of the Wild 2 had a teaser trailer. And this teaser trailer was all broken up, and it was a bunch of random clips, and it really kind of culminates with there is a hand holding Ganondorf down, or what we assume is Ganondorf's body after he was mummified.
Yeah.
Holding his body down, and then Link falls off a cliff, and then the hand breaks loose to grab Link.
They're also in a cave.
They're also in a cave,
Which is
screams dungeon.
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
they have all of these Zonai runes around, which was a big thing from Breath of the Wild. Everyone was like, what are these runes? So we're going to get answers
Which
to
runes?
that. The Zonai runes, the ones where if you went into...
Runes.
Runes, R-U-N-E-S.
Alright, which one? I heard runes. I'm like, what?
No, I keep going because
So
I'm following.
Everyone's
I'm following.
getting hyped about the fact that we're gonna get answers to the Zonai. We're gonna get actual dungeons. Ganondorf might be coming back, not a demon reincarnation of Ganondorf, like Ganondorf.
The Ganondorf,
Like
right.
Calamity. Like all these people are now like Calamity Ganon must have just been a complete culmination of Malice in the game, which you're fighting this constantly throughout the game.
Yeah.
You're fighting Malice, and then all of a sudden you fight Calamity Ganon, and then you fight Dark Beast Ganon. And it's like, yeah, we saved the world. And then now this trailer comes out and it's like, okay, guess we didn't. Or not. And so, but this trailer was so completely just broken and jumbled up that I actually watched a video of one dude who took every single clip of one solid piece, no jumps, just like, oh hey, here's Zelda and Link's hair blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
And he took every single one and expanded it to the same 3-second length, and then just shuffled it all around so that he could make one flowing narrative. And it works, and it explains the trailer so well. They go into the cave, they discover this body, they're standing at Ganondorf's body as the hand is down on it, and then the ground breaks beneath Zelda. Link drops everything to grab Zelda, the hand then grabs Link's ankle, and then Ganondorf wakes up. And then the hand actually will go into Link's right hand, which is some new power that everyone is assuming is going to happen. Because in the 10,000 Year Legacy, in the original Breath of the Wild game, Link is holding a sword on a tapestry and he has a green hand. And that never happens in the game. And then all of a sudden this trailer comes out, and in one of the clips, Link is stretching his hand back as this one hand goes into his, and the power imbues into his hand. And everyone is like... And Breath of the Wild 2, the hype is real.
I was gonna say, I believe the hype. The way you described this shit just now sounded
Things I'm gonna get
The
is
shit that I get into
Yeah.
when I'm involved in something and I go in deep, I really get in deep.
I see.
But you haven't gotten the motorcycle.
Hence, no, because I did not actually complete all the DLC.
You should. It's fun.
I decided to play Cuphead instead.
So these are problems.
just talking about that.
These are the
Got a
complaints I had
PlayStation.
about Breath of the Wild that I'm pretty sure they're going to fix. Weapon durability too low. Totally missed the boat on no caves, and I really did miss an underwater level.
Agreed. Especially because they gave you a decent swimming ability.
There was not.
Damn.
Yeah, they did, and good swimming equipment. There needed to be a more diverse bestiary or bestiary.
Definitely more than just
There was like 4 or 5 enemies, and then just variations on them.
variation of Bokoblin, Keese, the Lionel, the Hinox,
Moblins,
the Moblins.
Madulga.
Yeah, okay, so let's go with 10.
Yeah,
Let's go with
it's
10.
not many.
It's not a lot.
No.
And they have so many different other enemies in the Zelda franchise that they could expand on.
A little bit more story.
I would agree, because most of the story you actually didn't need.
Yeah,
You didn't need the story. You could just find your memories in the past.
more
and maybe
more
get-
Urbasa.
More Urbasa would be awesome. Or expand on Riku.
Urbasa.
Or expand on Riku. That was one of my big complaints, was that I'm discovering all of these people who are descendants of the original champions,
Yeah.
and then we do nothing with them. We maybe kind of do a little thing with the Divine Beast, and they get us into the Divine Beast. And
Which
then
goes back to what I was saying and what you said. We wanted real dungeons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you get into the Divine Beast, and it wasn't a real dungeon, but you get in there,
I beat the win one in like 10 minutes.
and you spend all this time with this descendant. You're 100 years later, and you have a descendant or someone else who could be a new champion, and pilot that Divine Beast, and then you defeat the Blight in the Divine Beast, and the spirit of the original champion who died 100 years ago decides to show up and operate the Divine Beast, and that was a huge story letdown for me. I was like, you could have expanded on all 4 of these characters, and maybe I'm hoping that they expand on the characters from Breath of the Wild too, because if they become the new champions, or they just have a more supportive role than just, oh hey, I met you, you happen to be the new leader of the Gerudo, and you're gonna help me get to the Divine Beast, but then you do nothing. Then you do nothing.
Yeah, I hate.
Like you go through all of this effort to meet the character.
More story, dungeons, underwater, caves, better weapon durability, but don't remove it.
Definitely don't remove it. That was a wonderful aspect of the game.
Yeah.
It was great.
Everything else I loved. So like the one thing I loved about Breath of the Wild is when you die, and we all died a lot.
Oh yeah.
We died a lot. Like a lot. But the thing about Breath of the Wild is when you die, you know it's your fault.
Usually.
You know it's your... Like, I really shouldn't have tried to climb that mountain with no stamina.
That's kind of how I feel about
I really don't think I should have survived that fall.
Like,
Or the best one is when you get hit by an enemy over a cliff, and you're just like, yeah, you know what? I should be dead.
I shouldn't fight this Lionel with 4 hearts.
Yeah. That reminds me of Fallout.
Like, I watched my hero's
frame
path.
of reference I had for this is Fallout.
No, that's the thing. You all of a sudden wind up fighting,
fucking one of
a
super mutant, yeah, and
super
it's like,
mutant or something.
And it's like shit.
like
all I've got
somebody-
is this fucking pistol, and it's about to break.
I was talking about Breath of the Wild with somebody, and they were like, "How do you know like everything?" And I'm like, "You're so good at combat." I'm like, "No, look, it took a while." So I pulled up my hero's path, and I'm just like, "Look, ah, 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 ah."
The best part was replaying it. So I did beat it again. I did not play Master Mode. I just wanted to just sit down and just run through it.
Yeah, now that you've experienced
Sometimes I'll boot it up and just run through Hyrule.
And just run through it because I know where some of the great stuff is.
Yeah.
And like, sure, I've only got 3 hearts, but if I just collect a bunch of fairies,
right, you know you can beat.
and the only issue with trying to beat it without defeating the Divine Beast is you get into that final fight with Ganondorf. I'm sorry, with Calamity Ganon, and you got to fight all 4 Blights, and then Calamity Ganon. So the issue with that is you need to try to conserve your weaponry because at that stage, of the game,
speed runs. People are beating it with like fucking pot lids and
because
spatulas.
at that stage in the game, you can only carry 6 weapons,
Oh god,
3 bows, and 3 shields.
And people
so
are
you're
perfect
starting out-
timing these reflecting like beams.
Like
And you have to remember, Calamity Ganon without the Divine Beast has twice as much health.
Yep, without collecting the Divine
Really?
Beast. If you get all 4 Divine Beasts, if you get all 4, any one of them will do 1/8 of a damage when you go to fight Calamity Ganon. If you get all 4, it takes out half the health. So if you go and fight it full strength without taking any of the Divine Beasts out,
so it's almost like an extra challenge to go through and
Yeah,
fight
no,
it.
that's actually something I was thinking about doing was a Divine Beastless run.
it's very hard. It's very hard. Now, if you spent the time to collect,
Not only that,
bunch of
because you
seeds,
lose the powers too.
Yeah. Because each one gives you an individual power. You want to explain that?
Oh yeah, no. So each Divine Beast gives you a certain power. So the Goron gives you like a shield where you can just hold the button for blocking and it deflects anything that hits you.
3 times.
And it
3 times, and then
not only
release
does
the
it block
recharge.
it, but it parries them. So it throws them off balance.
Okay, so you got
The
3
the
reverse
wind
cards.
one is essential for exploring. It just shoots you straight up and into your paraglider, so you can.
But if you're fighting and you shoot yourself straight up in the air, you can then use the mode where you can actually...
Oh yeah, you go Matrix bullet time with the bow and arrow.
Matrix bullet time with the bow and arrow, and then you
Okay.
can aim better and aim for a critical spot. So
Yeah.
it does help.
Yeah.
Then the
Battle
Zoras give you it's basically a fairy. When you die, you revive
Actually, it's better
all the
than a
way
fairy.
through with 5 extra hearts. It's way better than a fairy.
Yeah, a fairy only gives you 6
The best one is clearly Urbasa's, where you just go and do your charge attack, and then when you unleash it, a giant AoE field of lightning just like does a fuck ton of damage
It's
to
the best one.
everything.
It is the
and
best
then
one.
stuns
It's a
them.
Hail Mary pass.
And that one you can do 3 times too. It's amazing. It's like, really, it's like they made like all the champions were pretty dope, and they even made a love story between Link and one of the Zora or the Zora champion, Mipha. They made a love story between them. It was actually like kind of endearing and nice. And then Urbasa shows up, and she's just like, by the way, I'm the best.
Damn.
By the way, I rock.
Okay.
And she's like a motherly aspect to
Urbosa
Zelda.
is her real name.
Urbosa's her real name, but she is Bae.
Her base. I
base.
got you.
She is absolutely the best champion, which is why I wanted them to expand on Riku too. Because I felt like I was like, well, if Urbosa has this power, does she have this power?
Right.
Like, can
what does she do?
What does she do?
Right.
And
I also love just dressing Link up in outfits that you can make him look like he's cosplaying
So
other
I
things.
went to actually go see the Zelda Orchestra back in 2017.
I saw the Final Fantasy Orchestra.
So I went to go see the Zelda Orchestra, and they had just generated a new composure of Breath of the Wild music.
That's another thing. I think Breath of the Wild could have had better music.
I agree, could have had better music, but I did like the very subtle aspect of just you're exploring and you're on a mountain and it's very quiet piano.
Yeah.
I liked that, but I also would have liked
Dungeon music.
dungeon music.
Yeah.
Like, when you're in one of the Divine Beasts, it's just kind of like really quiet, somber music. And you're like, yo, I'm exploring this dangerous thing.
Like,
Also, like
is
certain
nice,
areas
but
you want to have music.
Right, like
if
when I
I'm
was-
running through like the snow. All right, a couple other things. I wanted to have to use my sand equipment in more than just the fucking desert.
Where else
didn't
would
like-
you use sand equipment?
Anywhere hot.
Okay.
There are
Fair.
tons of places
Okay.
that could
Like
have been hot.
the
Like,
Gerudo Desert was awesome.
that was actually
I
one of the
just
most
wish-
expanded upon parts of the game.
Oh yeah, Gerudo Desert was awesome. But I just wish that they had other areas where it was like, cool, I'm glad I have this heat armor and these sand boots.
Okay, I got you. So just, if you're gonna give me the equipment, give me more
Allow me to
than
use it
one
more.
like little
Yeah.
arc to use the equipment
Right.
for.
Like the snow equipment was great because there's
everywhere.
yeah, there's at least two major regions that are just ice.
Okay.
And then on top of that, you have other regions where you might be climbing and all of a sudden it gets cold.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm in snow all of a sudden. I'm climbing up this mountain. I need my snow equipment. That was the most used equipment aside from like your core champion's tunic and Hylian trousers.
Damn.
You use the snow stuff.
I mean, I have the amiibo stuff, so I'm running around with Fierce Deity and Hero of Time.
I did have Majora's Mask. I do have one amiibo, so I had Majora's Mask. But Majora's Mask does nothing in terms of armor. It is
What do you mean? If you have Majora's Mask, nothing attacks you.
No, that's definitely not true.
If you're wearing Majora's Mask,
I've been attacked wearing it.
it's literally supposed to make it you cannot get attacked. Like people, like all the enemies are just going to be looking at you like you're one of them.
No, there are plenty of masks that you can
Yeah,
purchase with.
Majora's Mask is supposed to be like the catch-all for that.
No, I've definitely been attacked with it.
Damn.
Majora's Mask is how how people cheese Master Mode. I died over and over like a man.
I've definitely been attacked with it. But that was also DLC. That wasn't an amiibo, now that I think about it. But Lighthouse and
Oh,
Lighthouse
the
themselves.
DLC one actually does. The DLC one is the one that's supposed to make it so you can't get hit.
Well,
Oh well, lighthouse.
all I know
check it.
all I know is what happened to me and I'm the Lighthouse.
Yep.
All you know is that
Right.
well, maybe it's my bad luck.
Maybe I just, and bad luck, I guess I'm saying my name, Bad Luck Brian.
Bad luck Lil B.
Damn.
But no, so I went to the Zelda Orchestra. And so I had bought these tickets, and it was very expensive, actually.
Yeah.
It was, for the tickets that I got, it was $110 a ticket.
Shit.
Now, I
Shit.
was not going to sit, it was at the Model Lyric in Baltimore.
Okay.
And I wasn't going to sit in, like, way up in the third row,
Right,
where
you
I
didn't
really
want
couldn't see what was
nosebleeds,
going on. I was
yeah.
like, you know what, I want to actually get, like, a decent seat.
Yeah. Okay.
So
you
I
paid-
wasn't, like,
Yeah.
way up front, but I was in, like, a nice area. And I bought this because I was like, you know what, I would like to take this girl. Let me get some nicer
Oh.
seats. I was like, let's
Fancy.
let
Fancy,
me
my
get-
man
Just
took
to
her
impress.
to the fucking orchestra.
and like,
Go.
meanwhile, at the same time, I'm over here like,
coattails in the
she
night.
doesn't need to know it's the Zelda Orchestra.
Of course not. No. She
doesn't need to
like she's
know.
not, like she's even gonna recognize. I mean, kudos to her. She recognized. She was like, "Nigga, did you take me to the Zelda Orchestra?" I'd have been like, "Oh my god, I gotta propose to
Man,
you
this
right
girl,
now.
you need to marry me right now." But so, like, I was like, I'll take this girl to the orchestra.
Yep.
I was like, that's a little
Yep.
more different than, like, your normal average date. We had already been dating.
Yeah.
Like, we had gone on a few dates. Like, let me
But that's
buy this.
advanced level shit, though.
Like, I mean, like, you know what? Like, this is something I really want to do. And
Yeah.
if, like, more, yeah, if I could make it a date, even better.
Hell the fuck yeah.
So I was like, I'll buy these tickets. This is gonna be great. And
Go listen to good music.
like 2 weeks after, I bought the tickets, I didn't even tell her I had the tickets yet. But 2 weeks after, she ended up like just ghosting me, just straight up ghosting me. After like 3-4 months. And so,
oh, okay, all right.
Like it wasn't like we had been dating for like half a year or a year even at that point.
That's
like
fair.
3 or 4 months, I guess.
She
like,
found out it was the Zelda Orchestra.
Yeah,
Realized what she was getting herself into.
She's like, I need to get the fuck away from this guy. But so like,
I thought he was fancy.
But like,
this nigga's a nerd.
We're creeping up on the date though, and I'm like, I gotta find like another date. I was like, oh my god.
Oh,
and
shit.
So like, I'm trying to find someone to go with me, and I was like, you know what? Fuck this being a date. I called my buddy Matt. I'm like, yo.
Yep.
Like, hey, Matt,
When
you want to come see
get the
this
homies
with me?
out.
I was like, you want to come see this with me? He goes,
Yep.
Fuck yeah, I want to go see that.
That's what
with
I'm
you.
talking about.
I mean, like,
that's what I'm talking about. That's the homie.
I will admit, I went and I've gone to see a concert by myself. I couldn't get rid of the second ticket or get anybody to come. But I just really wanted to go see Metric.
Yeah, you were like, I'm not gonna pass.
I'm not gonna miss this. I'm just gonna go see this band.
I went and saw Hollywood Undead by myself.
Okay.
I mean, also, you know me. Like, if you drop me into a social environment
it's not
by myself,
I mean,
shit, I could be me, or I could be what I normally do and say my name is Chuck Finley and make up some shit.
I was about to cheers you for being an extrovert, and I mean, you are extroverted. It's a great thing. But at the same time...
You are also the most introverted extrovert I've ever met in
wild.
Like,
It's wild, actually. But yeah, no,
It's because I'm a Scorpio rising,
oh,
Cancer
shit.
sun,
Oh shit.
and a Gemini moon.
Do I gotta break my co-star?
I don't actually honestly know the difference between rising moon and
Basically,
sun.
I'm an emotional fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like the most emotional.
I knew that.
One's how you think of yourself, one is how you display yourself to the real world or to the world, and then one is like your true self. I forget which one is which. My fiance could tell us if I called her down here.
Your rising is the one you present, so I come across as a Scorpio.
Well, I honestly also don't know which one they are. I know whichever one is like, oh, your birth month.
Yeah. That's your rise.
Or your birth
sun.
Yeah, that's your son.
Or your birthday. That's the one
That's
I
your
know.
son.
I've thought about I'm thinking about getting a tattoo, like right here on the inside of my bicep, where it's just like a cartoon crab crying with a speech bubble that says, emotions!
Right next to, on the other side of your Queens of the... No, you should get it on your ribs on the other side of your Queens of the Stone Age tattoo. Just keep all your ironic tattoos on your ribs.
So, Zelda Orchestra was a fantastic time.
There we go.
We went full regalia and actually went out in suits.
See? That's what... Please tell me you had coattails. Please tell me you had
We did not,
coattails.
because we did not rent suits. We just wore suits.
You either
that
go
we had.
balls out on the suit or cosplay.
Well, that's actually what happened. We showed up and people were doing the thing that I was doing, and they were taking their girls there.
Yeah.
And so, like, obviously these were guys who were, like, into Zelda, but they had taken their girlfriends or their wives there.
Right.
And then we're all showing up, and there is, at the Model Lyric, there is a sports bar right next door.
Oh, God.
So, Matt and I got there really early,
And
we were like, okay, well, I was expecting it to be a little bit more crowded because it said it was sold out, but, you want to just go get a beer?
Yeah.
So we just went and we
Pre-game a little bit.
had a couple drinks at this sports bar, and it was clearly obvious that we were doing something at the Model Lyric because we're in a sports bar.
Yeah.
And people were watching the game, and we're there in suits.
Suits.
We're there in suits. So, but we leave, we go in there, and we just both get a whiskey, and we sit down, and we just watch the entire thing. And I realized very quickly that even if she had gone with me, she would have known that this was the Zelda Orchestra because they let down a full projector.
Oh, yeah.
And played Zelda in the background.
Fucking live walkthrough. As
Like,
they're...
I mean, like, it was
not
like
like a
clips.
walkthrough.
It was
Okay,
like clips that went well with the composure.
Because if it was a walkthrough...
That's what they get with the Final Fantasy.
Yo.
But we were there
a
for like,
walkthrough? Or
No, like
okay.
the
All right, because look, in my mind, right, I'm imagining a bunch of fancy people in suits, right, and then this huge orchestra, everybody like all decked out to the nines, and then like this weeb sitting in the front. Dude, the speed run on fucking master mode.
They're doing the rolls and then they glitch through the wall and he's like, look, I'm gonna beat this game by the time the concert's over.
So
He's racing against the orchestra. Like, eventually, the conductor's like, "Oh shit, he's catching up!"
Speed up. So then,
Going double time, bitches.
So it was this full show. It was like 3 hours long. It was a great show. And we ended up leaving, and it was like at that point, maybe like 10 o'clock. And we were like, hey, you want to go get another drink before we get our Uber and go home? And so we go back to the sports bar. And we're sitting there, and we're both sitting in the sports bar. And these two people sat down next to us, and they clearly had also just come from it. It was another guy with his wife.
Okay.
And they also sat down. They picked us because we were the ones in suits, and they were also dressed up.
Yeah.
They were also
Like-
dressed up. And so they sit down next to us. And then in comes these three people, and they sit down directly next to us as well on the other side. And it was this mom and her two daughters. And I looked over, and I was like, guys, that's the piccolo player. And I like leaned across. I was like, are you the piccolo player that just was in the Zelda orchestra? And she goes, yeah, that was me. I was like, I just want to say that was fantastic. I had a wonderful time.
That's
and just
dope.
Bought their drinks and just sat there and just had conversations with the whole group. All 7 of us at that point just had this wonderful conversation for like 3 hours. It was like, hey, do you want to go get like another beer? And then all of a sudden we're like,
Tight.
all right,
Yeah.
we've been here for quite a while.
Right, you're like, oh my
I know
god,
that.
is it
I
really
know that.
like 2
it's
in
like
the morning?
1:30.
Yeah.
They're doing last call, but it turns out that the
That's
Zelda
tight. That's
orchestra
tight.
actually is composed of the conductor
Yeah.
and first violin. Everyone else is just local players from the site that they're going to.
Yep.
Oh,
Probably
really?
the same way with Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Yep.
That's
They actually,
dope.
like, all of the people
Yeah.
were from Baltimore and DC.
That's dope.
So they actually had
Final
tryouts.
Fantasy one, when I
Showcasing
went,
local
it
talent.
was
Local
uh,
talent minus the conductor and violin.
Yeah.
The Final Fantasy one was
violin.
Berkeley,
That's
Berkeley College of Music students, because
Okay,
it was
I
in
can see that.
Boston.
It was in
It was in Boston.
Okay, I can
Okay.
see that. But that's apparently, as they bop around, they just have tryouts beforehand and are just like, hey, we're gonna do this thing. And it was hilarious too, because she was like, so why did everyone freak out when the conductor held up this baton and it was the Wind Waker? I was like, well, it's just a part of the game. It's just a part of the game. They were like, but like, why
Sometimes
did
you just don't need to go that far in depth.
they were like, but
Yeah.
why did it get so hyped? And they were trying to get more information out of me. I was like, do you want me to explain it to you, or
Yeah.
do you just want me to say that it was a very key aspect of a beloved game?
Yeah.
And she's like, how much? I was like, a lot of detail.
Wind Waker overrated.
I was like, a lot of detail.
Wind Waker overrated.
However, that is a big nostalgic game for me, similar to Ocarina of Time. So I still,
Yeah, I was gonna say
still love Wind
Ocarina
Waker.
of Time was like that's where I got my
Also,
cherry pop.
another one, Majora's Mask N64 version is a legitimately really fucking hard game.
Really hard, also really fucked up. And that's
Oh, yeah.
why I'm super hyped that Ig Aonumo said in a interview that Breath of the Wild 2 is actually supposed to be darker than Majora's Mask.
Oh.
Hype.
That is a serious statement, because to date, that is the darkest Zelda game.
Yeah.
So, as far as going to stuff in like either suits or cosplay, I just want to throw out that earlier this basketball season, my buddy Zach and I went to a Sixers Celtics game.
This joint.
We went in cosplay from Hunter x Hunter.
I saw that. You were Killua, weren't you?
I was Hisoka. He was killed.
Okay. One of you was Killua.
Yes.
Your perfect clown friend.
Hey, easily best character.
Yeah.
Easily best
You
character.
know, the thing is like, the reason, like,
Alright, we might have to cut
I
this
cosplayed as him because I think he's like the only one I could realistically cosplay. I don't even think,
Well,
I don't
you're
even know
also-
if he's my favorite character, and I have the tattoo for him.
You're also
No,
6'3", so.
I was gonna say, yeah, don't do that. I get it. It's just he's creepy. Like
He's
the
super
character-
creepy.
The character in
He's
itself
supposed to be.
is creepy.
All right, let's take a break.
guns and
Fuck, that sounds like a
we
good
had-
ass fucking time.
had a stand up jet ski that we were playing on for a while.
Get the fuck.
You ever used
yeah.
one of those before?
Nope. I
They
want to though.
are
See, that's
tough.
the kind of shit that I'm trying to like.
They are tough.
That's why I like having white friends. Because y'all are like, have you ever?
I've got
tried
this random thing. You ever tried it?
Yep, and I'm like, well, you know what? 2 more shots of this motherfucking rum, and I can dance.
I got more.
Exactly. I'm like, stand-up jet
But
ski.
like, have you ever used a jet ski at all?
If you want to
No.
pop on, actually.
So
yeah.
if you actually use a jet ski and you're sitting down on the jet ski, you know you've
I got
no
you.
center of gravity,
Yeah.
your weight's dispersed well,
Right.
and those things, although kind of built the same, they're heavier obviously because they have seats.
Right.
But
Right.
they
There's a bit more like balance
there's
to it.
balance to it. But then you hop on a stand-up jet ski and the whole thing shoots down and it collapses. The handlebars come down and you're dragging in the water on your stomach and you're giving it some throttle, giving it some throttle, and you start getting yourself moving and you hop up onto your knees on the platform and the handlebars shoot up to chest height. And the whole handlebar system will go up.
What the
Like
fuck
this.
kind of James Bond shit is
So
this?
then you're on your knees and you're trying to get the thing moving and you get onto plane. And then when you're on plane, you just hop up like you're on a surfboard.
See,
And you just stand up and then you're going and the whole handlebar system
I need more friends like you in my
Shoots up
life.
with
This
you.
sounds amazing.
It's so much fun, so difficult to do. But you were commenting earlier, you're like, I need less 6-foot+ people in my house.
This.
You are at the advantage on this one.
Oh yeah, I bet because my low center,
Center of gravity can come way low.
You say that. You say that. I still have not mastered that motherfucking Segway board that my son has upstairs. It's treacherous as fuck. Like, I think I
Wait,
can
the
handle...
hoverboard thing?
Yeah, it's not a fucking hoverboard. It's a Segway board. We're gonna stop calling it a
without
hug.
the handlebars. You just kind of
That's why I call it. Yeah, it's a board. It's a Segway board.
I was about to say, like, I'm proud of myself for learning how to do the ripstick.
Yeah.
Also tough, but like
Also fucking sweet.
also sweet. But like, you know,
And this is from a dude who owns Heelys.
That's fair. That's
but
fair.
you know, this is the shit that I grew up with. You know, I grew up
yeah.
with dirt bikes, mountain bikes, BMX,
Heelys.
four-wheelers. I never was a Heelys guy.
Me either.
Never was a
I'm
Heelys guy.
fucking boss at Heelys.
I had a longboard.
Can't.
Like, and I can say that in the present tense, I'm boss at Heelys.
I bet you are, honestly, if you have them for long enough. But you know what? I think we're back.
Oh shit, we never clapped.
We never did clap.
Damn. God damn. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
All right,
And I
let's
hope-
through some of this actual relevant stuff.
Nah, fuck that. Cause they know what they come here for. Every goddamn time you do this, you're like, let's be more professional. I'm like, they
Let's
know what
actually
the
be
fuck it is.
productive. It's like, no, we got shit we're talking about.
You know what you signed up for. You know what you come here for. We keep it real, raw.
I don't have a notebook in my hands for once.
That's because we also were spur of the moment. Hey, let's
Yeah.
invite Lil B and see what happens.
Exactly.
And here we are.
Today's one of them kind of episodes. Y'all have been. It's been heavy lately. Don't y'all agree? It's been heavy as shit lately. It's kind of good to just sit back and fucking kick it. But oh man, speaking of heavy,
Shingeki no Karen!
Oh,
Where you
so
wanna
it begins.
start?
By the
Where you
way,
wanna start?
the manga hype as fuck right now. Not going into it, but
Yeah.
the manga is hype as fuck right now. And if
This-
you have not read Attack on Titan, I suggest it.
okay.
Attack on Titan is
Am I
great.
correct? And I feel like I remember hearing the show is ending, but the manga is continuing.
No, the show's final season is upcoming.
Okay.
The manga is almost done.
Okay.
Okay, so here is what Falcon tweeted at us about the ridiculousness of Karens. Dear game companies, our group of expert-approved
This.
journalists have produced the list of demands that must be met.
This.
Hashtag feminism, hashtag journalism. Our demands to the gaming industry, if it wishes to continue. M-rated games are now 25 plus.
Shoo.
Stop making
Good
and
luck,
using guns
because-
for games. Background checks on M-rated games.
Background checks.
Mandatory
Background
franchise
check.
diversity, POC, women, and JLGBT+. They got that out of order. And I mean,
Could you imagine if
that was
wait? So they
Say
what?
that again.
JLGBT+.
Is that what the tweet really says?
Yes.
Woo.
Okay.
Also, games must be given green light by an approved journalist before being published.
A journal.
A journalist.
But let's
A
be real
journal.
here. Who's gonna wait till 25 to play this game? 10-year-olds are playing Grand Theft Auto right now.
I play Grand Theft Auto
Dog.
at 10.
Dog.
And look how I turned. Never mind.
Could you remember? Could you imagine having to wait till 25 to play Fallout, and then having to
wait.
wait for a background check
Hang on.
to play Fallout?
We're playing with fictional, futuristic laser guns. This thing
These
is
same
called
people
the...
are like, you don't need background checks for guns.
Mortal Kombat. Like Mortal Kombat, like a background check to play Mortal Kombat. Fucking wasn't the last. God damn it.
Mortal
what was
Kombat
that?
was the one that did it actually inspire the ESRB. Though.
Yeah, because they were like, oh my god, that's
It's so violent.
spy.
People are like, oh, the fatalities.
Why a journalist? Did you dig into this any further, or is it just
No, it was just something that
But this is just someone.
Okay,
who
so
decided
on
that-
surface level, this is dumb as shit.
Oh yeah, they need to get off their high horse and realize that they have no input in this because they probably don't play the games.
Could you imagine having to be 25 and up to go into a rated R game or rated R
Rated
movie?
Endgame.
Or
Well, rated R movie, yeah, you're right.
No, we're gonna bump the rated R level up to 25.
They tried that.
because-
They tried that and made it 21 when the most recent Friday the 13th came out in 2009. I remember
Yeah.
this. It came out in 2009, and I was 18. And I was like, all right, well, everyone wants to go see Friday the 13th. Let's
Yeah.
go see Friday the 13th. And they're like,
I'm trying to remember that one because I feel like
you need to be 21 or older. And I was like,
the fuck.
what? They're like, yeah, it's a new thing. R-rated movies, you need to be 21 or older. I was like, but I'm 18. And they're like, and you need to be 21. And I was like,
Nah.
okay, well, I'll go see.
That's dead.
I'll go
That's-
see XYZ, and I bought a ticket for another movie. And I
Yeah.
was like, fuck it, I'll just walk in.
Well, of course.
They had
Yeah.
someone standing there checking IDs. I was like,
I feel bad for all the kids who are like 19 and got hooked on Juul pods just to have the smoking age go up to 21.
It's
I mean, like,
marketing is funny that way.
I mean, like, I'm honestly not that upset though because I have like one issue with Juuls, and that is just the ability to just sit there and just keep sucking them down.
Yep.
Because like when you smoke a cigarette, you eventually
It's a
kinda-
ritual thing.
Yeah, you finish the
There's
cigarette.
there's an
and you're
end to
also
it.
like, okay, there's an end.
Yeah.
And I'm also like a little tired
you're
of the
satiated.
cigarette
Yeah,
flavor.
yeah.
It's satiated. I might need another one in like an hour and a half or so.
Yeah.
But that's one more cigarette in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Juul, you just sit there at the bar.
Yep.
That's why I liked originally before Juul Pods
Honestly,
became popular. Before
I
Juul
feel
Pods
better smoking than I did.
Yeah. Before Juul Pods became popular, there was another brand that was really like mainstream and hip. It was called like Blue E6,
I
right?
remember them.
And they had a timer on it. If you hit that bitch too many times in under a minute, it would cut you off for like, I don't know, like another minute or something like that.
But Juul don't give a fuck.
No, not at all.
Juul don't care.
Yep, because I need you to keep coming and buying them fucking Juul Pods.
Buy my
Joe.
pods, man. Buy my
Yep.
pods. They're expensive.
Yep.
Hey, subscribe to our pod, man. Subscribe to our pod.
It's not expensive. It's free,
It's
motherfucker.
free.
And we have fun up in here. We talk about whatever the fuck we feel
We
like.
literally
That's
right
right.
now literally cannot even make money
with
off of
it.
YouTube.
Yeah,
No, you're right. You don't have enough.
Yeah.
Content and views.
Nope.
You can't do AdSense. Yet.
And I also said motherfucker way too many times.
Yeah, it's like Samuel L. Jackson numbers.
Yep.
I know that's why so many YouTubers are family friendly.
Yeah. I don't
But
understand.
fuck that.
I was gonna say I don't understand why there's not a competitor, but then I remembered that Google owns YouTube, and now I know why there's not a competitor.
But do y'all remember like pre-internet, the early stuff? when we had, like,
KillSometime.com, fucking
Newgrounds,
yeah, Newgrounds,
D-Bombs
yeah,
World. You remember the
yeah.
Numa Numa guy and the Star Wars kid?
Yeah.
And let's not forget the original OG granddaddy, Trogdor the Burninator.
Fucking Star Runner. Yeah.
Star Runner.
Yeah.
Let's not forget them. They're the
Damn.
OGs, baby.
Fucking, oh my god, yeah. The fucking early 2000s and 90s internet was like a gold mine of just weird, classic, nostalgic shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was an aesthetic, yo. It was a whole aesthetic. It's,
That one's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, the one that really sticks in my head is anytime I hear the Chocobo theme song, I just hear Final Fantasy is an RPG, the only one I need. It's the game made for me.
I mean, like, but honestly, though,
I
of course
only
that's
play
the one
games
that
that
sticks
are
in your head.
popular.
I'm not even remotely shocked that that's the one that sticks in your
That's
head.
the one that sticks in his head.
Like every time I hear it in every Final Fantasy, it's like this song has lyrics to me.
Sometimes I wish the internet would go back to that. Like, just for like a brief, maybe like a year, like something glitches out and the internet. And all
We
of
go
a
back to
sudden-
Windows 98.
Right. Oh my god, could you imagine what
Trump
Twitter
gets
would look
banned
like?
off Twitter, says fuck y'all, sends us way back by flipping some switch.
Russia.
Russia hops in.
Yep, Russia cuts a cable in the ocean somewhere.
Russia rushes in! Super Smash Brothers style.
Oh shit.
Could we? But remember, we're jumping back, so it's the N64 Super Smash Bros. Where like they would come in and
That game is broken, fuck that game.
Oh no, what you mean?
Hey, come on though. I mean, like it was funny watching their characters enter though, because it was
Yep.
supposed to be something from the game, and like you would just get like one dude just come smashing in with like
Their character reveals are really good now.
Their character reveals are great, but this was like N64, 64-bit glory.
Yep.
We don't have a lot
Yep.
that we can do capability-wise,
Nope.
and they designed the game.
But they gave us Captain Falcon.
They did.
Falco!
F-Zero already had 2 games.
I didn't fucking know about F-Zero until
F-Zero
Capcom.
already had 2 games.
I didn't either.
The only reason
Same
I
reason
know
with like
is-
Fire Emblem. Nobody knew shit about
That was
Fire
true.
Emblem.
That was true. I did not know anything about Earthbound in the original Super Smash Bros. I didn't know anything about Earthbound.
Nope.
I knew
Nope.
every other character except for Ness.
Introduced me to all kinds of new shit. I was like, what?
Yeah, like
There's a
Fire
whole
Emblem.
fucking world of video
There was
games I
no
don't even
Western
fucking know.
release of Fire Emblem
Until after
when
Melee.
Melee
Yeah.
came out.
Yep.
And then they released Fire Emblem, just self-titled, which is Fire Emblem 7 on the Game Boy Advance, which is about Ellawood, who's Roy's father.
Okay. And that was kind of their segue into all the other Fire Emblem North American releases.
Yeah, and now Fire Emblem is fucked and it's terrible.
Well, I mean,
It's
I know
Waifu
that-
Simulator
Okay,
and
listen,
it's
I
awful.
know you're salty about this. Stop knocking over Batman.
I know, right? Leave Ben Affleck alone, yo.
Batman didn't do anything to ruin Fire
Do
Emblem.
you know how long it took me to get Ben Affleck booked to come here? And you just gonna elbow
Smack him in the
He's,
face.
he's shorter than I thought he would be.
But we know, Dan. We know they ruined it by making it easy mode.
They've ruined it for a bunch of reasons.
Before we go
But-
down this path,
But
Shingeki no Karen.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
They would complain about Fire Emblem too.
Yeah, of course, because all of a sudden, hey, here's a waifu character.
your team manager?
Why is your DS asking you to blow into it? That's actually a question I still ask about new Fire Emblems. Why is my DS asking me to blow into it? Because my waifu got out of the shower. When they asked me that, I literally closed the DS and I've never touched the game since.
What would you do for a next subject? So,
Oh,
Fuck
yeah.
Fire Emblem.
back to Shingeki no Karen.
Yes,
So
tell
you remember,
us.
you remember,
You were
Dan.
saying something, yeah.
You remember when we worked together at the bike shop?
Yeah.
You remember that? So, Ziggy and I had a stint. I guess it was probably like what, a year,
Yeah.
where we worked together at the same bike shop.
It wasn't that long.
I don't even know if it was that long. I think I was
It was a couple of months.
I think I was only back on a college.
I think it was like 3
break.
months.
So maybe 3 months.
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay, so it was college break job for you. What was it for you? You were just there.
Part-time job for me.
Part-time job.
But I mean, I had been in and out of this bike shop since 2007.
Okay.
So like, I worked there full time all the way up until 2013.
Oh, okay.
And then I continued to work there until 2017.
He can work there whenever he wants.
Technically,
I
I,
got you.
actually
I got
am
you.
still an employee. I have never actually been taken off the payroll.
Damn.
I just-
Okay. You could walk in there and pull a shift right now.
Like, honestly, I mean, like, well, my boss will occasionally go on vacations and he'll
Yeah.
just ask for my help. There was that one time when we were selling stuff, and this was back when we had picked up Scott, the company Scott.
Oh.
Not a guy, the company.
Okay.
So Scott, like the goggles,
Okay.
they also make bikes.
gear and stuff like
they
that.
are a Swiss company.
Okay.
And so they make great stuff. Make
Okay.
absolutely great stuff. And so in comes Karen plus husband. And I'm there. It's cold. It's like January-ish time frame.
Evening, morning.
It's when they first came in, it was like after 10.
Oh.
So like the sun's
shit.
up. The sun's
when they
up.
first came in.
When they
Okay.
first came in.
Yep.
So the
Let's
sun's
go.
up.
Yep.
And so, like, they're telling me all about how they respect small businesses, which instantly is a red flag to me.
Yeah.
Instantly,
you're
as,
like, what?
as a salesman, and, like, I mean, like, I did plenty of my fair share as a mechanic, so I would
Yeah.
eavesdrop, too. Because you can't help it. You're right there.
Right. You hear how
Like,
it goes there.
we
You
couldn't be hidden as mechanics and go
Yeah.
hide in the back. We were in the forefront, and people would watch us. It was really obnoxious.
There wasn't.
It's unnerving to be trying to fix
Banky
something.
literally was so hungover he took a nap the entire time. one day it worked out.
Allegedly.
Yeah, well, no, not
No, that's a fact. That was that.
Yeah,
He'll admit to it.
I was gonna say, if
it.
he'll claim it, I was trying to protect your man.
He'll admit to it.
There is like a level of relaxation in a bike shop because at the end of the day,
okay,
it's a bike shop.
yeah,
And
that's the
at
plot.
that
Like,
time,
let's not take it that.
At that time,
serious.
I wouldn't do it now that there's a new owner and it's a new business.
Yeah.
But back then, when it
It's
was
a
just
different
at
vibe.
its lowest point, I mean, its lowest point I could get into, that was the summer of 2013, and is actually a fantastic story. But,
okay.
Yeah, that is right around when I worked. Yeah, that is when I worked there.
But then it switched owners.
Yeah.
The first place went bankrupt when I had left for college, and so when that one went under, I was actually already gone. And then
Okay.
it became the next store. And it had a new owner who was like this investor guy that happened to know the previous owner.
Yeah.
And the
Came
previous
in,
owner
swooped it
became
up.
a general manager, and then it was all the same employees.
Okay.
No one lost their job.
So they were able to keep everything in house.
And
It was
people
just
just
there
kinda
was
kept going.
y'all had a
That,
new daddy at the moment.
that lady came in, right?
Yes, I remember her name. And
Margaret?
Melanie.
Melanie.
Yeah, Melanie. And
Allegedly.
she. Allegedly. I mean, like, no, but like, this is nothing bad blood about her.
Right.
She was just there to run the shop. The investor guy didn't trust the previous owner because obviously he had just declared bankruptcy. So
Right.
she
Right.
invited this person to pay her to watch us and keep our books.
Okay.
So she was
Okay.
basically our accountant.
Yeah.
Wonderful person. Wonderful person. A lot of love for her.
Not hard to work with at all.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
It's
She
good.
definitely
That's
would
good.
be like trying to get us in line, but she
Yeah.
wasn't hard to work with. And then at the same time, he just told you that Banky slept one day.
Yeah, right.
At the end of the day, it's
Hungover
still
past that.
just a
Yeah.
bike shop.
Yeah.
I got
Absolutely.
I've had that kind of.
At the end of the day, it's
Yeah.
still just a bike shop.
Yeah.
It's cold though. It's a very cold day,
Yeah.
and I'm working there on my break, and I was not in a sling this time. I was not in a sling this time. I was healthy. I was very happy about that. I was healthy. I was back on my break, and it was
Okay.
just Christmas break, and I was working at the bike shop. And in comes this couple, Karen plus husband, and they're like, "We want to look at bikes." So, showing them
So,
around,
here you go.
work with them for
Right.
about an hour as I'm trying to understand
An
what
hour.
they want. This would happen.
Okay.
This would happen.
Okay. That's normal.
Sometimes
That's
people
normal.
would come in and they'd be like, "This is what I'm looking for."
Yeah.
And they would know. They're
Boom,
like,
bop, bing. Yeah.
I want a mountain
Can
bike.
attest to that.
I want a mountain bike. I want to do this because you would sell them that. Like, I mean, like, honestly, like,
I had no idea what I was doing.
you were not a knowledgeable person in the level that Banky and I were. I'm not
Absolutely.
insulting
I
you.
just
It's
was
just-
but that's real.
It's
Some,
fact.
yeah,
It's just
some
fact.
people
I
are
was just charming enough that I would be able to be like,
But like at the end of the
it's
day,
shiny.
Like, you like that shit?
at the end of the
Let's
day,
go.
if someone wants a bike, they're gonna buy a bike.
Yep.
So in
Yep.
comes this couple, and they didn't know what they wanted. So now I'm playing the guessing game. All right, what do you want? And so Karen's up in here like, well, we actually like have our own small business, so like we really want to make sure that we're getting the best thing that we can possibly get for ourselves, and we want to make sure that you know that what you're talking about. And I'm like, okay, so I didn't.
Right? Are you gonna Google?
I didn't
reference
realize
me as
that
we're-
you were testing me. It's
Right.
a good thing that I'm an incredibly knowledgeable bike person because this is one of my biggest passions.
Hey, hey, my man
like,
said I'm here to show out. Let's
You want to
go.
fucking test me?
Right.
Like, let's go. And the only caveat to that is I can't memorize prices. It's difficult to memorize prices. I have to learn all this information about 15 different genres of bikes.
Right.
That's one thing. I could show them the different price areas.
Well, the problem was you could get them in a lump, but then you still don't know the individual price of the bike.
Yeah.
Like that bike
Yeah,
might be
and-
$650, but that one might be $750,
Yeah,
and then
and
that
Karen-
one's $900.
Yep. Karen already
And
sounds
this is
like
already becoming a problem.
she's looking
Yeah,
for
I
any
can smell
kind of
it.
discrepancy.
It's already becoming a problem.
Well, if this bike is this much, why is this one that much?
one that much? And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, do you want me to go into the nitty gritty details of why that component range is better than that component range?
Yes,
it's
you
like
do.
literally if you buy a Toyota
She do.
and you buy the base package of the Toyota, there's 7 models
Yep.
of it, right? Well, which one do you want? Do you want the base package that's going to get you on a bike and you're going to be happy because you're riding a bike? Or do you want to go into something that's a little bit more
Right, do you
luxurious?
want a bike with leather seats, ones with
What do
memory
you want?
foam in them? Do you want gears that
let's
are
talk.
like a lube, pre-lube
And this
for
just-
you?
But like I'm already like at this point, at this stage, I'm already anticipating that I'm not getting a sale.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm
Yeah.
wasting my time.
Yeah.
And so
You're
I'm
like-
like, well,
dead mission.
and we didn't even work on commission. So honestly, it wasn't even a matter of like, oh, I'm wasting my time. I'm getting paid hourly to talk to this person, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's starting to annoy me.
Right. Because you're
personally.
like, what are we here? What are you
One
doing
of the most
here?
friendly people I know.
Like, what are we doing?
I get it. I've worked in sales before. I know what you mean. It's like, why are we even here? Like, you don't want anything. You just came here because your soul needed like another victim to quell itself.
And you decided to pester me.
Yep.
And so, finally, though, the sun is starting to creep down at this point.
Yeah.
Because it's January. It's cold out. It's like 30 degrees outside. They weren't dressed to go riding outside. They had like a light jacket on each of them, like transfer from car to shop. And they're like, well, we want to pull down these two. I'm like, okay, well, that one's for you, and this one's for your husband. I was like, well, that one is a couple stages up. That one's 900, yours is 650.
Yeah.
I said that, counting it right now. That is what I said.
I just came up with something. Karens are just grown-up Gretchen Wieners.
That was a deep cut.
Wow. Wow, we went there.
It was a deep cut.
We have Regina George as one of the top villains.
I mean,
That's true. That is true.
Karens are just the stage 2 Pokey evolution of Gretchen Wieners.
Poke evolution.
and then the final stage is Regina
Like,
George.
baby version would be like Angelica Pickles.
No, then the final stage is Laura Ingraham.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
That's the mega evolution.
So,
Shut up and dribble.
Fuck her.
Thank you.
so I get them on their bikes. I size them up and everything, and I get them squared away, and I get everything ready to go, and they go out for their test ride, and I could see them just do like 2 laps around the parking lot because obviously it's cold as fuck outside.
Right.
And so they come back inside, and
Meanwhile, her husband is like, do we really have to do this?
they're like, "Well, we really think we like them, but like, you know, what can you do for us?" And that is my favorite. That is my favorite.
Is there a small business discount? Like,
Anyone in retail has heard that line.
Yep.
What can you do
Yep.
for us? Actually, not even retail. Customer service in general.
Yeah.
And
I worked at a casino.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
Come
yeah.
on, isn't there free drinks or something here?
I mean, like, obviously, I lost all my money, so you owe me a drink.
Right.
So, I'm sitting here, I'm like, well, there's not a lot of markup on the bikes, which is fact. But,
Really not.
like, there's really not. It's really bad. Like, any big sporting equipment,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of markup. They make their money in the accessories.
Oh, okay.
They make their money in the accessories.
Yeah.
So, like,
You can have the bat, but then come back for the gloves.
come back
and
for the glove, get
wrist
the balls,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
get a cap,
Yeah.
get things
the,
like that.
Get the weights for the practice swing, all
or
that
like
shit.
even like sticking with the high
Which
adventure.
reminds me, baseball's a fucking expensive sport.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. There's
it
a
is.
reason for that.
But then like even sticking in the high adventure realm, a snowboard is not going to have a lot of markup.
Right.
Skis won't have a lot of markup. The clothes will.
Yeah.
Bindings won't.
Ah.
Boots, maybe. Boots are kind of like a 50-50. They might have like a nice markup,
Yeah.
but the board and the bindings, the skis and the bindings, they do not. They have a pretty atrocious
Yeah.
markup. They're just equipment that a company that you're paying to sell as a franchise is like, hey, by the way,
Yeah.
this is what you have to sell it for. And you don't get a say in the matter. If you're caught selling it for more, you lose the rights to sell that company.
Damn.
It's pretty cutthroat.
Okay.
And so, like,
And
if
they just come in for the jump. Like,
if
that
Giant
high.
Bicycle Company
Yeah.
says sell this bike for $900, or Never Summer Snowboard says sell this bike for $540, that is what you sell it for.
Yeah.
You cannot be caught selling it for
for
something else.
500 or whatever.
Well, no, I mean you wouldn't sell for less, but you can't be
Or-
caught
yeah.
selling it for $600
Yeah. Right.
because if you do get caught for that, and a customer reports it, or even if like a rep happens to see it, on
yeah.
display for something more, you would lose the rights to sell that company. So
Fuck.
it's
Okay.
all on the accessories. So when someone says, so what can you do for me? I'm buying 2 bikes. I'm like, you can buy accessories!
Yeah.
Buy accessories and I'll give you 10% off. But like that was not okay
No.
with Shingeki no Kyojin.
No, you were like, I'm already done with you. Like you,
Like, I'm like, over here,
you
I'm
made
like-
a fool of yourself riding around in the parking lot, looking like a wet poodle. Like,
Like I'm like, I'm going to be straight with you.
Yeah.
There's really not much that I can do for you on the bikes.
No.
I was like, and by not much, I really can't discount the bikes.
No.
She goes, well, like, if you really were a representative of this business, you would want to make a sale. I was like, I do want to make a sale. I absolutely want to make a sale, but I need to also make profit off that sale. You know, that's kind of called my paycheck. You told me you own a small business. You get this. And they're like, well, we would be happy to bend a little bit if it meant that we were able to continue our business. And I'm like, that's not how the real world works.
Nope.
I'm like, yeah,
not this business. Not all businesses work the same.
There are some leniencies here and there. Occasionally, I might do 15%.
If I run a bakery, I can slide you 2 extra muffins. It's not going to cut me like...
My bad.
Right, yeah.
The baker's dozen.
Yeah.
My bad, you can have an extra muffin.
Right.
You're talking about how much? And she's like, well, I would like 10% off the bikes. I'm like, great. So you're talking 65 off one and 90 off another.
Right.
And then this went back and forth for a while.
Why don't we take my kneecaps out while we're at it?
I was like, and this went back and forth for a while, and then the owner came out, and he has the say. If he wants to do it, I'm not going to revoke it. And he goes, Brian, you can go ahead and do that. Okay.
And that's why they keep coming.
Okay, sure.
Because they get their way.
Why not? Fine. I'm not the one running this business.
Yep.
I'm not the one. I'm just a guy. So I sell them the bike. They come back.
God damn.
Over the summer. Come back over the summer.
If you say to return the bikes, I'm going to get up and
No,
walk away.
not to return the bikes. Okay. But they had just reached the break-in period. So, like a car, there's a break-in period on bikes. Cables will stretch, chains will stretch, things start to not shift properly.
Right.
It's just a natural state of things.
It's like how everybody blows a clutch within a week when they get a stick shift.
Hey, I didn't do that.
I know.
I got my stick shift.
I'm not like you,
I got my stick shift car outside on my original clutch from 8,000 miles.
I know at
110.
Least, I know at least 4 other people besides me that blew a clutch within like a week.
Okay, well I feel special then.
It's the best anti-theft device in the country. Like, you'll get a phone call from the cops and be like, we found your car, it's 2 blocks away, your clutch is destroyed. And I'm like, I figured.
So they come back, and it's over the summer, and it's the same way that we are now. We're at Hell's front porch.
Yeah.
So it's 98 degrees outside. And
It's an understatement. It was 104 earlier.
Yeah, no, it was hot. But now it's 98. And,
yeah,
you know, only 100% humidity, because, you know, Maryland. And so...
Only place you can have 100% humidity and it's not raining.
So they come back.
Fucking disgusting.
They're worried about their break-in period because their bikes apparently are not operating properly anymore. And so I take both their bikes, and remember, one is 650 and one is 900. So one is using entry-level components and another one is using some mid-level stuff. Mid-level one, like a dream, comes right back. The entry-level one is okay. I mean, like, I get it operating, and I go out and I take them both for test rides, and the bikes are working great. And they go to test ride it, and the husband gets his bike working properly. Karen decides that, oh, hey, this isn't shifting as quickly as I want. You need to work on it.
Shit. I need
and so then
timing. Now I'm getting ready to race the Tour de France. I
could not get them to leave the store. I could not get them to leave the store. It was awful. I kept going back out in the parking lot, riding in circles, because I can't make the bike work better than it already is. The bike is working. The bike is working, and I'm out there just shifting up and shifting down and shifting up and shifting down, just pretending to be doing something, because I'm like, oh, darn, I'm seeing that the bike is working.
Like, look,
no,
that time I almost had it. Look,
almost had it that time. Maybe like tweak it a little bit. Yeah, like, oh man. And so this went on for the better part of an hour, maybe even over an hour and a half, and like it's trying my patience. And I'm doing my best to just have my two-faced side, just being like, this is fine, you're only just drenched in sweat, it's not like you jumped out of a pool, it's fine. And like the husband,
the complete opposite of the last time that you bet this bitch.
The husband went around the corner and got them both slushies from like,
wow.
Like nothing for me.
Nothing for you.
Nothing for me.
Nothing.
Which is when I lost respect for the husband.
Right.
And like, and she's out there like,
you
arms crossed, like watching me.
Simp.
And it eventually reached a point where I'm like, I can't explain to her when she doesn't understand that you need to just push the shifter a little bit harder. Yeah. She was pushing directly to the click, and on inexpensive Shimano stuff, you need to just hit the click and just.
There's like a little. It feels like a little pneumatic like pressure. You just need to
1.2 to 1 ratio.
Yeah,
and like that's all it is. Just a little bit more. And
The
so,
click is it beginning to engage.
Okay.
And when you
Yeah.
you get a little bit more resistance
Yeah.
is when it fully opens up.
It's kind of like how in a Dark Souls game you have to like hit the X button to
And die.
and like hold the X button and die. Yeah.
Die again.
but hold the X button.
Like,
to
get
repeat.
good,
follow
kids.
through with
Right.
the
Get
you have to
good.
follow through.
You can't just lightly hit them. You have to swing through.
Yeah.
Similar concept. You need to get it to actually engage and shift up.
Yeah.
And I couldn't explain it to her. She's like, I don't understand why it doesn't work on the click. I'm like, I just told you. I just told you. Are we
Like,
gonna be out here?
literally.
She goes, you know what? I'm going inside and you come get me when it's working. And she walks into the store. And here I am just outside like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I was like, this is a free tune-up. We offer it free. I was like, you have wasted over an hour of my time on something that I can't charge you for. I was like, I can't charge you for this.
Nope.
I was like, and you were inside with your fucking husband eating a slushie, and I'm outside in a blacktop surrounded by brick buildings, just sweltering in this heat. I'm like, oh my god.
How'd you wrap this situation?
So I go back inside. I'm like, listen, the bike works. The bike is working fine. I have tuned it. You need to actually just accept the fact that you have to push it a little further. She goes, you obviously are an incapable bike mechanic. I was like, okay, well, you can go ahead and leave my store.
Ooh.
I was like, now you have insulted my own intelligence.
Yep. I'm like, take it to another shop then.
I was
Bye.
like, now you have insulted my own intelligence,
Yep.
and now I'm done.
Yeah.
I was
You know
like,
what I
"And
used
now
to
I'm
do
done."
when I worked at the card shop with people that annoyed me? I'd be running around really frantic, and somebody came up, and they were like, "Hey, yo, can you find me?" And I just go, "Dude, I don't even know how to read," and just walked away.
I know colors.
I told him I don't even know how to read, and I walked away.
That was a full-
And Jason had no problem.
Yep.
That was a full 20-minute story, but hey.
Nah, totally. Look, we've all been there. We've all been there. I was hoping that you sold.
So,
her
does
some
it float?
bullshit lube
Does it float,
to
everybody?
gear her shifter.
Let us know. Are Karens just final form evolution Gretchen Wieners?
My man with the follow through. He's like, I'm not gonna let them
I mean,
die.
but, you know, Doc, you're not wrong. We all have been there. Anyone who has worked in any customer service industry,
we've all
waiting, waitressing, bartending, going it all the way to the shit that, you know, Zig and I dealt with when we were at the bike shop. Or
I worked at a casino. Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
I worked at a Magic the Gathering Yu-Gi-Oh card shop and a casino. I've dealt with the most neurotic, fucking crazy, inside all the time people that you can deal with. And you know what? Neither of them shower.
It's all about the head lotion.
Ooh.
And what's that? What's that? Patchouli oil?
Yeah, the patchouli or
Patchouli
whatever.
oil, that's
it. Damn, people still do that. That's
Oh,
trashy.
yeah.
Yo, go on.
Oh yeah, go home and shower.
They got all kinds of different body sprays and stuff now, y'all. Stop it.
But yeah,
They
we
don't
would-
all have the
a lot of
paraffins
that,
and
but-
shit in them anymore.
every now and again you get that one Karen story that just resonates.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it just sticks with your core,
Yeah,
and you're just
yeah.
like, you remember that time? Yeah, fucking remember that time. That fucking.
Yep. Yeah. You start cracking
I don't have the
knuckles for
patience.
no
Start getting
reason.
pissed.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience for that shit.
Nah.
Like I'll go pop off a lot faster than y'all.
Yeah, but like I mean, at the same time, like it was becoming a problem when I worked retail. I was very two-faced. My friends would see my true personality, but then I had my retail voice.
Everybody does.
Yeah, you got to, yo.
Got your retail
'Cause you're
voice?
trying to get them sales in, and you want
Gotta get that bag.
you want that. Yeah, you want to give that era of compliance, and you know, like I'm here to help you.
Right.
Like this, we're gonna get you a
What
bike.
can I show you?
Yeah. Yep. Today,
wanna make you
You're
happy.
not gonna walk out of here without making yourself happy. That's what you came in here to do, and we're gonna do it. God damn it.
God damn it, it's gonna be a thing.
Now my question is: burnt orange or cherry red?
Yo, in that regard, I have to go burn orange.
See?
In that regard, I gotta go burn orange.
That's what I'm saying. That's how you get them started, and the next thing you know, you $900 in, and then you're just like, now I'm just. The burnt orange would go really great with these wristbands we have right over here on the wall.
By the way,
And
you
God
need some new
damn.
shoes, dude.
Yes, you got to have
And-
the whole drip going on. You know these kids will roast you on TikTok.
I
if
got
you want
complimented
that.
at the doctor's office for my Jordan 1s
Hey, hold on, by the doctor or by the nurses?
by the nurse.
I mean, why not?
Okay.
Why can't the Why can't the doctor compliment him?
Well-
My doctor is like a 50 plus.
Look at your doctor.
And why can't he compliment you on shoes?
Okay, but look
She-
at your doctor's shoes the next shoe. Still, look at your doctor's shoes the next time you go to the doctor, and you tell me if you think that your doctor.
Before you ask, yes, she was.
Indian?
No, the one that complimented my shoes.
Hot.
Indian?
What is
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
Indian.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about doctors, so.
I do have to say, a funny story was when I was still with my pediatrician when I was like 19. We're jumping straight into some embarrassment here, but this is a funny story, I swear.
Okay.
So I go to see my pediatrician for just like a routine physical, and I get into the room, and a nurse brings me in there, and this nurse was like my age, and I realized to that I was like, it's a little different.
Yikes! Right.
Like, you're kind of cute, and I really don't know if I should be thinking that when I'm walking into my pediatrician.
Somebody's about to grab my balls and cough and ask me to cough, and I hope it's not you.
So like, I go in there, and my pediatrician comes in, and she looks at
your
me.
cheeks, lift your sack.
She walks right in.
God
My
damn.
pediatrician walks right in, and she just sits her clipboard down next to me, and she just kind of steps back, just like, "Yo, B, we need to talk." I was like, "Okay." She goes, "Listen, you're too old to be here with me now. You need to go find a primary care doctor." I was like, "Okay."
Oh shit! She kicked you out the nest like that.
That's
She's
fine.
like,
I was like, "So like, we'll do the appointment today." And she goes, "And you need to find a primary care doctor. Listen, when my nurses are outside talking about how you're cute, it's officially a problem."
She's like, not to mention, the moms saw you playing at the table with the little clickety clack. And they said something too. You gotta get the fuck out of here now.
I heard him whisper about a lot of Tarantino films.
They were uncomfortable.
They're all asking where your kid is, and it's not looking good.
All right, what else did we have? We had AOC going at sexism.
That's how you decide to lead into us talking about AOC.
Yeah, we go from all of that we just talked about.
Nurses hitting on him in the doctor's office. To be
What
like,
else did we talk about? Oh, that's by the way.
Feminism.
Go ahead.
Today in feminism, badass woman iconery, fucking classic female icon already. I'm calling it already. AOC, future president AOC.
Probably.
Now,
Ayo!
how old actually is she now? Like,
She's, I think, 29.
No, she's
Lighthouse?
older than that.
check it.
I was about to Google this shit.
I'm surprised nobody's just literally asking Google.
I don't
look.
actually have that. You want to go for it?
Oh,
Yeah.
I do, but I think hold on, I've almost got it.
As we all
She's
pull
30.
our phones out.
She's 30.
She's 30. Okay, so
Yeah.
I mean, like,
she'll be 31 this year.
so that means that the
She's got 4 more years
I mean,
before
like,
she can run.
Would that mean that she can run for 2024?
Potentially.
Like, would she actually be 35 at that time?
That's a good question.
I don't think she would
Get her
run
here
that
on the cast.
early. I don't know if she'd get away running that early.
I mean, if it was necessary.
Why not? I guess you're right. Obama did it.
Guys, we have Kanye trying to run for
I was getting ready to say we elected Donald Trump.
No,
as
we have
president.
Kanye breaking down. in
We
public.
elected Donald Trump. Like, Ronald Reagan was one thing, right? It was like, all right.
Now we have dumb Ronald Reagan.
We elected a movie star as president. And it was because he was mad charismatic and, like, he served some time as governor, right? Like, at least he served some time as governor.
He had his foot in the door.
Donald was like, man, fuck Obama.
I'm in this shit.
I'm in this shit.
Well,
deep.
actually, I got a great analogy from one of my friends, and this was, I mean, like, this was back way when Trump was first running. We're talking back in 2016.
Yeah,
and
which feels like fucking a century ago. At
a long time ago.
This is back in.
And so, like, you know,
2016.
it's Trump versus Clinton, and my buddy sits me down, and we're just talking about it. It's not like he sat me down to talk about it, but like,
no,
we're talking about it the
Yeah.
way we are now. And he was like, you know, I heard a great analogy. It's like when you're on a plane and the pilot goes out. All of a sudden, the pilot has gone unconscious. He had a stroke.
Yeah.
Something happened. And one person on the plane has some flight experience. And then another person on the plane stands up and goes, you know what? I'm taking control.
that's
Who would
accurate.
who would you want flying? The one who is uber confident, or the one who is got a little bit of flight experience?
The one with a little bit of
bit
flight
of flight
experience.
It's normally a pretty explanatory term
Yep.
or question.
Yeah.
So I mean,
No, I get what you're saying, but
That's kind of what happened back in 2016. Is we had Hillary and we had Donald, and I mean.
I feel like, I feel like the country chose the person with a little bit of flight experience, but the delegates were like, that guy, it was like, what the fuck is it? Not the majority rule, but it was like the loudest one or whatever. Like, they were like, nah, fuck it, we want that guy. Like, that guy seems dope. We like how he grabs women by the pussy, and he doesn't take shit from anybody. Did you see the way he stood behind Hillary, just menacingly during the debate?
Clearly, he is the option.
Yo, he was whispering mad shit in her ear, too. Like, I'm the fucking alpha wolf here. Call me alpha wolf.
I mean, like, side note, everything aside, Alpha Wolf is a dope ass name. And from now on, I want that to be my name.
Just to completely derail this, and then we're gonna hit another. Stormy Daniels did say that his dick looks like Toad from Mario.
You just had to talk about what his dick looked like, yo.
Why do we have to talk about his penis?
He looks like...
Ever since I picked Yoshi.
Do you think he tans that too?
Probably.
Oh my god. You think he doesn't even spend the time to fix the fucking eyes?
He's narcissistic enough that he would emphasize
But he
that.
doesn't fix his fucking eyes though, son.
What does he care about his eyes?
The rest of his face be orange as shit, and then his eyes be pale than a motherfucker, yo. He just be looking like all he do is sit in the corner and snort meth. It's goddamn ridiculous. I think Trump snorts meth, yo. Like,
So what I actually get a kick
People
out of
think he's just like blasted on Adderall.
So
Yeah.
my one of my friends used to actually paint for the White House,
okay.
and so he was in there a lot.
Yeah.
And he has been in there doing that since Obama was president.
Yeah.
And so he gets invited to the Christmas party because he's an employee of the White House.
Yeah.
And it is kind of funny just seeing like, roughneck, blue collar. I'm a worker, and I work hard for
With all
my
these,
living with
like,
scratch. In there with all these bureaucrats.
Yeah.
It's hilarious when I see these pictures whenever he sends
Yep.
them to me. Because like when they went to go in there when Obama and Michelle were still in the White House, those two are charismatic as fuck.
Yeah,
love
I
that.
heard they had some
Love
kids
that.
together. Yeah.
Their
I heard they had some
charisma in
functions.
general is just
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so like when you look at the picture
Everything
of
Donald wishes he
them,
was.
they are just like arms over shoulders, like it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
we're here.
That
It's Christmas.
infectious
We're
Obama
happy.
ear to ear
Infectious,
smile,
like just
yeah.
the smile. It's a wonderful picture. And then they've got right next to it the one of them with Trump and Melania.
Yes.
Trump
Correct.
and Melania.
You are
Her
correct.
face always screams, "Save me."
With not going into her face, it was just the.
I was getting ready to say, have you ever seen Trump smile with his teeth out, yo? Does he ever smile with his teeth out? Because I almost feel like he has dentures.
I mean, he is in his 70s. It's not unheard of.
No, it's not.
I would
but
bet that his
it's
are
totally
not
something
made of
he
wood
would,
either.
It's totally something he would never fucking admit, yo.
Of course not.
Yeah, well, that's,
And, like-
that's too human.
Remember that time, like, he gave that speech and, like, he couldn't, like, pronounce words right and stuff, like, and he was constantly, like, trying to, like, maybe it's because his dentures were falling.
Maybe his dentures came loose. I mean, like, again,
I'm not saying Donald Trump has dentures, all
but
I'm
I
saying
mean,
is...
he is in his mid 70s,
And
upper
if-
70s.
If we start reminding people that close to the election, it seems like, maybe he's getting a little old. How do we know he can handle another 4 years? Look at him now. He looks stressed out.
Also,
All
just
I'm
though,
saying.
in the question though, how old is Biden?
You're...
I will admit though that Biden shows his age better.
Okay. My
Like-
point is fuck Donald. Fuck,
I get
fuck
that.
Joe
I
Biden,
get-
too.
I get that.
I wanted
I know.
Bernie Sanders as president, so
I
I
know.
can't fucking talk. I
What
can't
would you
fucking
do? Our next subject.
talk. Stimulus checks?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Round out on stimulus checks.
Did we break Doc? We almost broke Doc.
Yo, all I'm saying.
Look, anytime you get me started on Fire Emblem, it's about to go haywire.
Okay,
So
stimulus
Checks.
checks.
we
Stimulus.
all get another $1,200.
We went from the Heroes Act to the Heals Act, which is health, economics,
I'm thinking heel as in wrestler, as in villains, and this is the Republican-led one?
Yep, that's
You-
what
you
they
do know that
decided to
they
call
put an
it.
A in the name, not two E's, right?
I know, but it doesn't change the fact that it's phonetically.
I'm trying to remember what the A was for. And the other one was liability. Pretty much protecting companies from getting, here we go, bam, heels. The Heels Acts. Yeah, so it's pretty much the same thing. Another $1,200 in stimulus checks. They're going to cut back the unemployment from $600 a week to like $200 a week, possibly.
So
and
now you're losing that $600 bump
Yep.
from unemployment to $200.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, that I'm not so upset about that because I'm a little I know you are.
It's a steep
I'm not gonna lie, I've been balling.
No, but I'm worried about what's going to happen to you come tax.
assistance.
Oh, I've had all of mine taken out. All of my taxes I've had taken out of my
I'm just
employment.
worried
Yeah.
though, like with this stimulus check and the $600 bump,
Yeah.
that they might find a way to just be like, oh,
Oh, you
well,
know they're gonna find a way.
they're
to
gonna find a way to
everybody in
fuck
the
you and
long
get that
run.
money back. That's what I'm scared of, and that's part of the reason why I'm super thankful that I have had a job during this and I have not had to
Borrow from that.
borrow from that. Now they
Yeah.
did give me a stimulus check. I was actually
Yeah, but the stimulus check was going to come out of our taxes regardless. I
Right.
mean, they were like, this is unfortunate to them because that new tax plan that they just put in place is now being countered by this stimulus checks that they have to give out.
Yep.
And it's health, economic assistance, liability protection, and schools. So this is another round of stimulus to the country that will help, give everybody that $1,200 bonus or boost
To
or whatever.
stimulate the economy.
or people just dump it into the stock market like they did last time.
Hey!
now
I'm up on the
employers-
stocks.
Now employers get a bonus for retaining workers and
I'm up
bringing
$80
on
today on
workers.
stocks.
So
Proud of you.
there's that. It's like $450 bonus or something like that they get for bringing on people during this whole thing.
Oh, so it's a pyramid scheme too.
Well, to be completely honest, my company has been hiring like mad.
Yeah.
But now, granted, we have been in a frenzy for, particularly just my sector,
Yeah.
has been in a frenzy just because of our rush of work about what's going to happen when that slows down a little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
Because we have all of these fresh faces now. I'm pretty. I want to say I'm pretty secure. I'm only there for 3 years. But I feel like I'm pretty secure with my position.
Okay.
And we have all of these new faces coming in. All of these new people.
yeah.
So many people we've been hiring, and all of a sudden, COVID hits. And it's like, now what?
Yeah, now y'all gotta really cut the fat.
But
and-
we haven't. We
Oh,
haven't. We have been
yeah.
working hard stop
Okay.
through all of this.
Yeah.
But what happens if shit hits the fan harder?
I see what you're saying. Because I was like, if everything levels out and you guys have managed the books pretty well, then
We
you
should
guys
be fine.
Yeah, y'all
We
should
should be
clear.
fine.
Y'all should even end up possibly with a little bit of surplus. I mean, fucking Amazon is cranking right now.
Right.
You know? Like, and I mean,
Now, I'm not doing delivery stuff.
No,
I
but-
am with kind of like a federal contractor scenario
Yeah.
kind of situation. So we
Yeah.
have a lot that's happening.
yeah.
But if it starts to taper off, what's going to happen to all these new people that they're trying to hire and hire and hire and hire and hire? And I'm really worried about that. I'm worried about my own job, but I feel like I'm
Yeah.
kind of secure. But it's just like, what happens if shit really hits the fan and it hits it hard?
Well,
Because I can't
yeah.
work from home.
Yeah.
I am not allowed
Oh.
to work from home.
Really?
Most of my company, 90% of my company is allowed to work from home, but me personally, I am not.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
what happens if we federally get locked down and everything stops?
Yeah. And that's where these kind of protections are are kind of necessary.
Right.
And it just, you reminded me of the rent protection that was up recently, and they had to renew that. That did get done in this new HEALS Act or whatever. They extended the moratorium or whatever it is on the renters, and they are making sure that they don't get charged late fees or anything like that for not paying their rent. But they will have to pay up their rent eventually.
And that's the thing that I'm concerned about is all of a sudden, what if they've gone, at this point, we're 4 months deep?
Yeah.
4 months deep?
Something like that.
4 months of rent?
Exactly.
If they get that as a lump sum, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, that's fucking brutal. Like, you gotta find a way to all of a sudden catch up. So now you're trying to extend more money into each of your payments. If your rent is $1,000, and you're 4 months deep, and now you have $4,000 of back pay, and you're trying to pay that off in 8 months, now you have to pay $1,500 each month.
It's fucking crazy, yo. And it's like, that's why this $1,200 really isn't enough. But what they've done here is, once again, they've protected the big business, they've protected the private sector, and they've given, that's what the liability part is. It keeps them from being sued for up to 6 months for anything like making people work with people who had COVID or like that kind of dumb shit, like get people getting sued for firing people for having COVID, that kind of shit. Like, so I don't, you know, the Republican plan. Like, I can't even, I'm gonna get like all in another world about it, because it just, I can't wait till Mitch McConnell and them is up out of the paint. I don't know, this next year is gonna be mad interesting depending on how it goes, and I'm just trying to decide on whether I need to spend this next stimulus check on a fucking AR-15 or if I should.
Well, just remember, something that Banky mentioned, that the AR-10 and the AR-15, they're two different calibrated weapons.
Right.
So the AR-15 is calibrated 5.56.
Yeah.
Now, if you are going to purchase that in Maryland, and you're going to have an AR-15, legally, you need to have a heavy barrel. The barrel, it's like a loaded barrel. The barrel needs to be heavier.
Yeah. Or else I'm gonna blow that bitch up.
Actually, no, it's not that you're gonna blow it up. It's just because apparently Maryland's law is that if it's lighter, it's easier to maneuver. But what they're not accounting for is that by adding some weight to the barrel, you're actually eliminating,
stabilizing it a little bit.
You're stabilizing it. But sure, whatever. But just don't forget that the AR-10, which is calibrated for 308, a larger round does not need a heavier barrel. That is a very legal weapon here in Maryland. So, like, you know, an AR-10, which I could shoot, and it would go through your wall and out the other side of the building. Allegedly. Allegedly. But a 5.56, which is a smaller round, and would do less, and is better for home protection, you need to have a heavy barrel. A weighted barrel.
Which I guess benefits me in the long run.
And it does benefit you in the long run, but
still, clearly...
But what?
Once again, as I've stated, our system of government needs a complete, like, retcon. Because, like, not even like a retcon, but it just... The people that we have running our government actually need to know what the fuck they're doing again, and not just be, like, high-level fucking... multi-level marketing scheme people. Like, all of them are just like these weird MLM people, ex-lobbyists who and it's not even hidden anymore like it used to be hidden behind this sense of fucking decorum. But Trump
they gave up.
No, Trump blew the fucking lid off the pot, yo. Like,
please let me expose how this all works.
And that's like, and I honestly think that is part of the reason why his supporters, like, are so diehard for him, because he did blow the lid off the fucking pot. He was like, these are all the loopholes that we have here. Did you guys know that? Because I'm gonna use all of them. And that rule that you said I can't do actually is not a rule, and fuck it. Fuck you.
And well, you know, I mean, like, the way that he was able to declare bankruptcy is that big ass loophole with investing. He's got however much losses he's had.
Yep.
But because he has declared bankruptcy and he has this, you know, $500 million in losses,
then
he can continue to just charge stuff tax free because he hasn't reaccrued his losses yet.
Nope.
And it's sickening. I mean, like, you get in a conversation with someone who knows their shit about it.
10 years. He hasn't paid any fucking taxes in 10 years.
And that's
your president.
That's that loophole that if you know it, you know it. And it's an awful loophole. It's just,
And I bet you they didn't close it.
oh, of course not. Of course not.
They got rid of write-offs for like teachers and small businesses and shit. But if you invested your money in pencils and you lost $2,000 in pencils, then we might could cut
It's
you
the
some
same
slack.
way,
there.
like when people have an excess of
Yeah.
capital,
Yeah.
and they're like, you know what?
I've got to offset.
I'm
this
gonna bet this much on this one stock going up, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna bet the same amount on that one stock going down.
Yeah.
And then I'm actually going to just start selling contracts, and I'm going to accrue the fee
Yep.
of selling
Bet.
that contract. I'm
Yep.
not losing on betting. It's like betting red and black on roulette.
Right.
Unless
Right.
it lands on green, which let's assume that roulette has no green.
Right.
It's just red and black.
Yeah.
You bet on one or the other, and you can't lose. It's the same way as betting up and down at the stock at the same time. But if
Yeah.
you start selling the contracts,
Yep.
you are collecting the money
Right back.
from
Bet you
selling the
bet.
contract.
Yep.
So you're not losing any money on
Yeah.
the up or down,
Nope.
but you're collecting money
Either
on the
way,
contract.
you're going to make a profit. You
Either way,
might
you're
take a
making a
small
profit.
loss on one end, but you're going to make a profit. And now you're doubling up on that profit by selling.
By selling it.
Yep.
And it is a dirty system.
Yep.
And I fucking hate stocks. And now that I'm starting to understand them enough to where I hate them, I still don't understand them enough to understand how to do that.
Yeah.
My brain just is not functioning
It's not
that
even.
way.
It's not even that. You don't.
Reddit helps.
You don't have
sure
the
it does.
money yet. There's a certain entry level of money to be
Right.
able to play
You
that
need a
kind of
level of
big boy
capital.
ball. Yeah.
You need a
Yeah,
level of capital.
I have $200 and I'm definitely able to play.
Once you get that money, then like somebody will come up and they'll show you. They'll be like, "Oh, you know, you could do that and this company at the same time." And then that way, if this company tanks, you'll still be able to make profit off of this
parlay
company.
bet.
Yep.
Was that same shit that they did in Wolf of Wall Street when Matthew
Yeah.
McConaughey's character was telling them, it's like, it's just a matter of just keeping them in the game.
Yep.
You keep them in the game,
Yep.
and you collect the rake.
That's it.
And you collect the rake. Now, rake is a poker term. I
Yeah.
don't actually know what they did in Wolf of Wall Street, because, to be honest, I haven't seen the movie, but
Ooh, you gotta see that movie. That movie's
Yeah.
great.
I have not seen Wolf of Wall Street. I have seen that scene, but
Yeah.
only
No,
one time.
you like me. Like I've seen movies
pieces.
in like in
Bits and pieces.
chops. Yeah, like almost episodically, but out of order.
I saw the final scene, and then I saw the middle scene,
Yep.
and then there
And
was
then
like,
you pieced it together like that Breath of the Wild 2 trailer.
Exactly.
don't judge me on my nerdiness.
That's just how my brain works sometimes. It's dysfunctional.
Scatterbrained
shit.
and dysfunctional as fuck.
But
Yeah.
somehow it made me a genius.
And you know what? Somehow you just have to remember,
Remember that.
everybody, none of this is normal.
Look, it's a flood.
The flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Wait, why can't we talk about
It
Black
is
stuff?
time to